brings you the premier poker experience in Austin, Texas, with a full restaurant and a full bar, plus up to 50 poker tables. Get ready for the grand opening, coming to Austin, Texas on August 28th. For full details, visit texascardhouse.com.
Our guaranteed Dallas Duel runs from August 21st through August 25th. Get in this Poker Atlas Tour multi-flight tournament with a $500 buy-in. More information at texascardhouse.com. The title event runs from August 28th through September 3rd. Get in this Poker Atlas Tour multi-flight tournament with a $900 buy-in. More information at texascardhouse.com.
Get in the $30,000 guaranteed first-hand tournament for a $100 buy-in. $10,000 added to first place, all part of the grand opening of TCH Social Austin. TCH Social Austin's grand opening $300,000. Guaranteed multi-flight tournament runs from August 29th through September 2nd. Get into any of the 12 flights with a $250 buy-in. TCH Social Austin presents the $50,000 Black Chip Bounty Tournament on Labor Day, September 2nd. $300 buy-in. Cards in the air at 2 p.m. Buy one, get one-time match, up to $500. This deal is only available for the first 300 members checked in on August 28th at the TCH Social Austin grand opening. On August 28th, get your Texas Card House annual membership for only $10. That's a 97% discount from $300. Only on opening day and only at TCH Social Austin. On August 28th in Austin, Texas, $500 high hands every 15 minutes. Over $10,000 in giveaways. Starting at 12 p.m. only on the opening day of TCH Social Austin.
All right, jumping into the action here. Hand number one from Texas Card House, Rio Grande Valley. A ton of promos there at the beginning, but a ton of stuff happening here at the Texas Card House throughout the entire state of Texas, North Texas, Central Texas, and South Texas, where we are tonight. Rio Grande Valley starting things off. Nick M24, he is raising it up to $15. This is a 2-5 game, and we have Jorge, George K, making the call, and the Cajun Asian coming along as well, going three ways on this first hand, and looks like George is going to be flopping two pair, and he's going to lead right out. Two spades on the flop. Might be scared of the spades, as he is going to put out about a pot-sized bet here. And this should get the job done, as Nick with just the pocket threes will let it go. All right, there are the stack sizes on the bottom. What everybody bought in for. This is a 2-5 game. Minimum buy-in is 500. So we got 5 people in for the minimum 500. As George there in seat 2 is in for 500. Got the Cajun Asian, just lost the last hand. He was in for 500 as well. Then over to seat 4, we have Nicotine. He's in for 500. Seat 5, Champ, in for 500. Seat 6, Nick, he had the pocket threes this last hand. He's in for 1,000. Seat 7, David T, in for 2K. Then seat 8, we have Tony. It's his first time on the stream. He's in for 1,000. So welcome, as we are here on hand number 2. And not to be a buzzkill, but I'm hearing sometime around hand 5 or hand 6, there's a little glitch, is what they told me. I don't know exactly what that means, but yes, I did have the production crew tell me around hand 5 or 6 there will be a little glitch. Like I said, I don't know what that means, but I will definitely keep you guys informed. King high flop. All right, so I will take care of, got a comment here from Jason. So actually, we are streaming on TCH Live. We're streaming on TCH Live. We are on a 15-minute delay, and we did have a stream on Wednesday. However, there was a software update, and we were not able to commentate on the stream. However, I have been told they are going to air it. I believe it's scheduled to air tomorrow. It's scheduled to air tomorrow on the secondary channel, which is Texas Card House Live. So to answer your question, Jason, they did record the stream, and from what I've told, there was an issue with the commentating. I wasn't able to commentate the stream, but they are going to air it without the commentating. And it looks like seat number 7, Nick with a fan. Not sure if it's his pink shirt that he's wearing. All right, a couple of aces and the Jack 10. Oh, also, I have been told they are playing the 7 deuce game. So the 7 deuce game is on tonight. I'm not sure if it's been played here before. Normally they play the small blind game, but the players agreed upon, and that's the reason why it's kind of hard to get a consensus on everything. Is that essentially everybody has to agree on what they want to play. So Nick with the pocket pair here, going to be raising it up to 95. Looks like he straddled under the gun to 15. Everybody called the 15, and he has a pocket pair, so he's going to punish the limpers here. Let's see if anybody makes a call here. Maybe the Cajun Nation makes a call. No, he doesn't, and everybody else is probably going to fold here as we have Nick.M24 versus Nicotine. And it's 95 total. It's just going to be too much for him to call. So as I said, the players have agreed to play the 7 deuce game tonight, and it's going to be progressive. So the first time somebody went to a 7 deuce, everybody's going to owe that player $5. Then the next time any player wins with 7 deuce, it'll go up to $10. It's going to go up in $5 increments. There was a couple of people who weren't sure about playing, so they started it off at $5, and it'll increase $5 every time somebody wins it. Under the gun straddle coming from David T, as he's the only player exactly even right now. Looks like we have Oscar limping here, just calling the straddle under the gun. And looks like somebody didn't get their card scanned, so that's what the slight delay is here. You can see the time right there on the iPad in front of the dealer, 6:21. We are on a 15-minute delay. So I am in the same building, separate part of the building. And we're on a 15-minute delay, so just making sure that everything scanned properly. And like I said, that's what the delay is. And as I said, they did tell me sometime around hand 5 or 6. Don't shoot the messenger, folks. So around hand 5 or 6, there is going to be some sort of glitch. I don't know exactly what it is. I'm seeing everything as it happens with you, as we could see for whatever reason none of the cards got scanned properly. And it's kind of funny because I know in the comments that I've read before and the comments here at the card house, some people want to see a mystery hand. So this is a mystery hand for everybody. What the comments actually mean is they want to kind of play along with a player. And the dealer is basically relaying the flop to the production crew. And this might be the glitch they were talking about, as none of the cards, for whatever reason, picked up on the reader. And let's see if they pick up on this hand. So once again, 7 deuce game is on. If a player wins with 7 deuce, I don't know if they have to show it. Normally that's part of, well yeah, obviously they have to show to get paid. They just can't say, oh, I voted 7 deuce, everybody owes me $5 or whatever. So if a player wins with a 7 deuce, all the players at the table owe that player $5. And then the next time somebody wins with 7 deuce, then everybody will owe that player $10. And as I said, it looks like, for whatever reason, the cards are not scanning properly. This is a special RFID table, and just like anything with technology, sometimes it's going to act up. So the players are going to continue to play here. And like I said, I know they are working on the problem. Before I came into the booth, I come into the booth about 10 minutes after they start. So before I came into the booth, they said, hey, in hand number 5, just to let you know, there's going to be a glitch. And you can see at 6:24 when this hand happened, the iPad. So normally I come into the booth about 2 minutes before they start. So after they start, I just kind of put the timer on and we'll come into the booth. And they did tell me something glitchy happens, and for whatever reason, the cards are not scanning properly. So the dealer does wear a headset, and that relays everything to the production crew. And there's essentially somebody sitting in front of the computer like I am right now, except they are watching the action live, and it's known as the action tracker. So the cards get scanned. However, the way the program is set up, they don't know what the player's hold cards are until after the hand. The only thing they know is that if a hand did not scan properly. So that's why sometimes you'll see them pause the action when the action tracker is letting them know that one of the cards is not scanned properly. So essentially that's what the action tracker is doing right now. So different computer, different area. If you've ever been here to the Texas Card House, Rio Grande Valley, when you first walk in, there's a couch with a coffee table and a waiting area. So right behind that, there's a small room where I'm set up in, basically right next to the front desk. And then on the other side of this wall is where the main office is, and that's where the production crew is set up. So there is a different computer in that room, which is the production office. And if you've ever been here to the Texas Card House, so essentially if you walk past the cage like you're walking towards the restrooms, there'll be an office there. So that's the office that the production crew is set up in. So everything gets relayed from this table to that computer with the action tracker, and the action tracker lets them know if the cards aren't scanned properly, and that's what's happening right now. The cards are not scanning properly. So that's what the glitch is or was. We found out together. And I believe it is there. There we go. It is corrected. It is corrected. Just like any computer system as well. Oh, somebody has a 7 deuce. It's Oscar with the 7 deuce. Yeah, so looks like we got the general manager there, Declan on the case. So just like any technology, sometimes it has to be restarted. So they just restarted the relay from the RFID table to the production computer, and it is corrected. And this is very awkward here because Oscar has the 7 deuce, so he raised it to go after the bounty, but right when he raised it, the action got stopped for a couple of minutes. So kind of awkward here. I think the size is a little bit too small to get people to fold. Oh, Nicotine with just the call here with the ace-king. He actually played on our Wednesday stream, but as somebody mentioned earlier, the Wednesday stream comes out on our secondary channel, which is Texas Card House, 3 different words. Oh, and he's going to hit a 7. It's all hearts. So pretty big flop for everybody here as Tony flopping top pair. He has a flush draw. Nicotine flopping the king high flush draw. And the 7 deuce hit him bottom pair here. He will continue on for 35. Nicotine. Looks like he's put in a small raise here. Oh, the min raise. And Tony, it's his first time on the stream. Oh, so it's not going to work, and he's just going to show the ace-king there. So the 2 Nicks out in front right now, Nick.M24 and Nicotine. And it looks like we have a $10 straddle on. And we are good now. Like I said, there was going to be a little glitch, so the glitch is over. And we have a $10 under the gun straddle. Action will be on George. He drives a Ford truck. Queen 8 of hearts for champs just makes the call. Nick also with hearts coming along on the button. And Tony P, it's his first time on the stream. He's going to put in the extra $5. He's halfway in. Okay, Oscar should be making it at least 50 more here. At least. Maybe even 60 more. And it looks like 50 exactly. Oh, it's 45. It's really small size, and this is not going to clear out the players. One of the reasons for you to raise is to clear out some players. One player did fold, but the other 2 called in position. That's another reason why you raise, especially when you're out of position. It's not good to play out of position. And the ace comes right on the flop for Oscar. Will there be a continuation bet? No, he's going to slow down. And it's probably going to go check around here. So Oscar should put out about 80 here. Looks like it's going to be 100. And that'll get the job done. So I thought his sizing was a little bit small pre-flop, but he picked up 2 callers and he hit his ace. So he's able to make enough to get him unstuck. Can number 7 here. Currently playing 8-handed, but I am told that the that the last seat, which would be the 9th player in seat 1 there, he'll take seat 1. But I am told that that seat is going to be taken. Action's going to be on George here. The Dolly Parton, the 9-5. Nine five, known as the Dolly Parton, a movie she made back in the 80s. I don't think it was 70s. It was 80s. And of course, she was one of the singers on the soundtrack for the movie. The name of the movie, 9 to 5. So David with the ace-jack making the raise. And David will put out the continuation bet on the paired board, sizing it down. Really no reason to size up here, but he is giving Nick a good price, as both Nick's cards are still live, and he also has backdoor hearts available. Jack of hearts for fun? Double paired board. It's going to go check, check. Nick's still looking for a king or a queen, and he's not going to get it. $200 in the pot, and it's going to go check, check again. So ace high winning that $200 pot. This is 2-5 normally. The normal game of choice here at the Texas Card House Program Alley is 1-3, although it plays like a 2-5. Blinds are actually 1-3. So 2-5, a little bit larger than what most of these players normally play here at Texas Card House Program Alley. That's not to say they don't play anywhere else that has higher stakes. So yes, I did check with Google, and 9-5 just made it. Came out in 1980. It's described as a comedy slash screwball comedy.
They went check, check, ace high one. I said check, check.
So action's going to be on the Cajun Asian there. He is a part-time dealer here at the Texas Card House. Nick, who just lost the last hand with King Queen, is going to pick up kings here, raises it up to 20. And he's going to get a customer in Oscar with the ace-6 of diamonds. George defending his big blind, $15 more to him. He'll close off the action. And it is a huge flop for Oscar here. He's actually a small blind here. I like a check raise. I like a check raise here. Nick should be putting out a continuation bet of about 40 bucks. Oh, it's small. Even more reason to check raise. Does Oscar check raise? No, he just calls here. George has nothing to call with, so he should be folding. But I kind of like the check raise in that situation because you flopped a huge hand here as you have a pair and a flush draw. And once he clears out, you can see it's basically 50-50 here. 51% to 49%. And the board pairing, that's really not going to affect the outs. It might slow down the action for Nick as maybe he gets called with a queen. Oh, Oscar's moving all in now. So very interesting line here. Once the board pairs, then he moves all in. So he doesn't believe that Nick has the queen, and he is correct. But as I said, this is a bit of a unique line that Oscar took here in this hand. And it's going to be about another $400 for Nick to call. I think it's going to be too much for him to call. He specifically has to put him on a flush draw here. He either has a flush draw or he has the queen. And like I said, I think this is going to work. And Oscar just mentioned that he does not have 7 deuce. The 7 deuce game is on, but he wants to let it be known he does not have the 7 deuce. And I don't know if he's saying that to maybe use the reverse psychology. But Nick is really thinking about this. I'm kind of surprised, to be honest with you. He does have the king of diamonds, so that should make him lean towards Oscar having the queen here, as Oscar's less likely to have diamonds, but that's actually what Oscar has. He also has a pair. I would have checked raised on the river, but instead Oscar check raises on the turn here. Excuse me, I would have checked raised on the flop, but Oscar check raises here on the turn. I don't know what the proper play is, to be honest with you. I don't know what the charts say, because that's the thing about all of the software nowadays. There's an app for that. There's literally an app for this situation where you can plug in what your hand is, what their stack sizes are, and it'll tell you how often you should be raising here, how often you should be folding. The GTO Wizard, I know that's one of the programs out there. Nick's really thinking about this. He thinks there's a possibility that Oscar has 7 deuce. The 7 deuce game is on, but it's only on for $5 a man. Nobody has hit it yet, so I don't think Oscar would go that crazy for just an extra $5 per person. And I think Nick is going to fold, but so he's getting the confirmation on the count. It's a 465 total. Oh, it looked like he was going to flick it in there. I think he was trying to get a read from Oscar. Yeah, he's finally going to fold. Does he show? So he did show one card. I believe he showed the 6 of diamonds.
Like, let it ride, baby. Let it ride on the flush draw, baby. Let's go. And then he's like, 25, everybody.
So with that win, that's going to bump up Oscar to a $150 winner, and that's going to take Nick down to a $180 loser, as we are on hand number 9. So action will be on Nicotine, college student here. There's a branch of the University of Texas down here. UTRGV. I believe they are the Vaqueros. So Nicotine with the 8s just calls the $5. And Nick.M24 also calls. Oscar with the Jack-9 winning last hand. Going to try to make it 2 in a row. And Cajun Asian putting out a $5 raise. Another interesting play, in my opinion, here. The last interesting play worked. We'll see if this interesting play works. He actually has the highest card right now with the queen, but it's going to be all diamonds, as it's a huge flop for Oscar and also a big flop for George. So second time George does this where he flops 2 pair and leads right out. So he flops top and bottom here. And Oscar has top pair with a flush draw. So Oscar's going to at least call here. And might raise if both these players call, but I can't see them both calling. No, Oscar folds. Can't figure him out. The deuce completing the straight, if anybody was on a straight draw, but with the flush draw out there makes it less likely. So George is going to continue on here, $120 in the pot. Should be betting at least 60, maybe 70. It's going to be a $75 bet. Oh, and Nick turning his hand into a bluff here. To be honest with you, I did not understand the call on the flop just because there was an overcard and there was diamonds. So even if you hit the 8 of diamonds, you don't know if it's good. So I didn't quite understand that play, but Nicotine had a plan here. And his plan was to represent on the turn. And he's representing either the straight or the flush here. And George is a little confused. Both these players just bought him for 500, so you can see that George has exactly a pot-sized bet left, so might just have to go with it here. And as I said, we were going to be getting the seat filled, and they are letting him know the rules real quick. I think it's his first time playing on the stream. I have not seen seat 1 play. We'll see what his name is here, as George has the decision here. Has exactly a pot size bet in his stack. Pot is 395. He has 395 in his stack. He's really thinking about it here, as this is a real strong line from Nicotine, as he just called on the flop, but he did have plans to represent either a straight or a flush, and now he's doing just that. But George has too strong of a hand to fold, and you can see this pot's now over $500, and these players have less than $300 in their stack. So pretty much an all-in or fold here is what Nicotine's going to have to do. For the record, Oscar would have hit 2 pair, a better 2 pair, and George is going to check, and Nicotine's going for it. There he is. He's going for it. He had a plan on the flop, and he is executing it. Like a lot of times you'll be there at the table and kind of have a plan, but you're not able to execute it. But I will give Nicotine credit here for executing the plan. And George folded? Wow, George folded. He got the best hand to fold. You can see C2 there, George's face. He looks sad. That is a sad, sad look upon his face. All right, so we got Cy in seat 1. So I'm pretty sure this is his first time on the stream. So seat number 8, Tony. It's his first time on the stream. Normally I will talk to these players beforehand just to get a little information on them, just to kind of know who they are and stuff like that. So as I mentioned, Nick, the college student, Nicotine here, he is a student here at the local university, University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley, UTRGV. And then seat 8 there, Tony. He's from the area, but he actually he's lived in Austin for quite a while already. And he sometimes comes down on the weekends to visit friends and family, so he's down here for the weekend. Oh, and Cy catching a hand the first time, and he's coming in hot. I don't know if they told him about the 7 deuce game. I do not know that part. But he is 3-betting here with this ace-5 suited. So David going to be calling and Tony going to be calling. Everybody with live cards. Pick me, pick me.
We have 3 players so far.
We are live on the YouTube chat. And it's going to come jack high. So it looks like the dealer picking Tony P. And he's going to put out a 2/3 pot size bet here. And David also flopping a pair. He does have some backdoor draws, so he might continue. The sizing is a little on the big side, and he will be out of position. And that's exactly what he's thinking about here. I think he's calling 75, as that would have been a half pot size bet, but this is a 2/3 pot size bet. And he is finally going to fold. And another reason why he was thinking about it is because of the 7 deuce game. So looks like we have an under the gun straddle, hand number 11 here. We are playing 9-handed. Nicotine will be the small blind, and Nick.M24 will be the straddler. Raise first in, and if you have watched the stream before, I do mention the stats. Really don't pay attention to those stats until we've played at least 20 hands, because right now they're a little skewed. 7-5 of clubs for David T. He's just going to be calling the straddle, as it will fold around to the Cajun Asian on the button. And there's something on top of that button. I don't know exactly what that is. And he's going to limp with the 10-3 of diamonds. Nicotine also making the call. Champ will fold his 10-5. And Nick.M24 will check his option, as we will go 4 ways to a flop. Action will be on Nicotine with his 7-8. The highest card between all of these players is a 10. We're 4 ways to the flop, and the highest card is a 10. And the 10 actually flops the best hand, as he flops bottom pair. It does check to him, and everybody checks around. Jack coming on the turn. And the 10-3. Oh, I was going to say 10-3 still out in front, but no, it's David has the middle pair. And that's actually a good card for David, as it's less likely somebody has a jack in their hand now. And that is why he is betting now. Cajun Asian with the tray. And he will finally make the fold. Nicotine needs a 7 or an 8, but he does not know that. And Nick will also make the fold. Once again, we are live on the YouTube chat. I know we're streaming on different platforms. We're streaming on Facebook, we're streaming on Twitch, and a couple of other channels. The only chat that I have access to is the YouTube chat. We are streaming on the main channel for Texas Card House, TCH Live. This is the main channel where all 4 different, well, 6 of the 4 locations stream.
have a
$10 under the gun straddle.
You're going to get posted like a tournament if you're not in your seat, but the stream master goes to your site.
The dealer reminding everybody that if they do miss their blind, it is like a tournament. They do get posted. That is something a little bit different on the stream. You cannot miss a blind. They do get posted just like a regular tournament. Ace Queen for Nick just makes the call. So Cy coming in pretty aggressive here as he had the ace 5 on his first hand. He 3-bet it, and now he is raising with the ace queen. Cy does flop top pair, and he's going to bet 75 here. George flopping middle pair. Is going all in. He doesn't think Cy has the 9. Cy was the pre-flop raiser. He thinks this was just a continuation bet with ace king, but he is wrong here. Cy's going to make the call, and we got ourselves almost a $600 pot here. The players discussing on whether or not we're going to run it once or twice. The dealer will let the production crew know, and he'll let us viewers know as well. As soon as he gets the count properly, he will flash up how many fingers, if it's going to be 1 or 2. You can see George has 4 outs. 4 outs. They are live on top of the screen there. There's only 1 6 that's been folded, so he needs a 7 or a 6. Oh, and he gets the 7. So Cy going to be showing the bad beat he took. So George making the wrong move at the right time.
Rush, table 9.
And looks like Cy's going to be adding on here. So it's a little different here as the dealer does not have a rack, and we are going to be changing dealers. So while we change dealers, we'll remind everybody about all the big events coming up here at the Texas Card House. Right now, Texas Card House, Rio Grande Valley, the $20 tournament is going on. They had, I want to say, close to 40 entries at about 6:15. I was on the main floor at 6:15, and they had 4 tables going of this tournament. It's every Friday and every Sunday. Friday at 6 p.m., Sunday at 4 p.m. It's a $20 entry fee. You get 20,000 in chips. You can rebuy for $20. You can add on for $20. And the blind levels are 20 minutes. Super, super fun tournament. There's a lot of friends and family that come out and spend their Friday nights here at the Texas Card House, Rio Grande Valley. So that's going on right now. 2-for-1 time is on Wednesdays and Sundays. So every month there's different promos here at the Texas Card House, Rio Grande Valley. This promo used to be Fridays and Sundays, but you can see now it is Wednesdays and Sundays, and now it ends at 6 p.m. So if you're going to take advantage of the 2-for-1 time, you can come in and buy up to $100 a time, and it will get matched 2-for-1 time Wednesdays and Sundays for the month of August between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. Looks like we got Jedi Master Ted joining the chat. And as I said, we're on a 15-minute delay. 15-minute delay. Oh, Oscar with the aces. I'm pretty sure he limped because he's 3-betting here. So he limped under the gun +1. And George with the king-queen raising it. And then he puts out the 3-bet, but everybody will fold. 7-deuce game in effect. Nobody has won the 7-deuce game. One person has been dealt and tried to win the 7-deuce game, but was unsuccessful. And Oscar's going to put on the straddle under the gun to $10. Cy did add on to his stack. So there was a little delay while they got the add-on taken care of, and there was also a dealer change. So normally the dealers change out every half hour, but for the stream table, it's every hour. So Cy with the 4s, looks like he probably added on about 400 there, as he had about 150 left in his stack. So he's going to call the 10, and George is going to have the jacks raise it to 50, 45. It's about the third person that has made a $45 bet or raise tonight. And Cy should be looking him up here with the 4s. And looks like Nick calling with the 10-8 of clubs. And as I said, Cy going to be complete in here. So George trying to avoid an ace or a king in his mind, but he actually needs to avoid a 4 and some clubs. Wow, pretty big flop here, as George will be flopping top set. Nick will be flopping a flush draw and a straight draw. You can see Cy is only 1% to win, so he's pretty much drawn dead. And George will put out the continuation bet, and it is going to be more than half pot. 95. So George with 400 behind, Nick with 700 behind, and he's just going to make the call here. So a 9 will be pretty gross here, although you can see the 9 of diamonds is already folded. Oh, and Nick hits his flush right away. But keep in mind, George now has a flush draw as well, and he has top set. All of the money is probably going to be going in the middle here. I don't know if George is going to go all in or Nick is going to go all in, and it is. Oh, George bet at 300, essentially going all in, and Nick. There's all in. And obviously George has to call, especially after he put in so much. They're going to talk about once or twice. I believe I heard twice. Oh, George gets there. No, they just went one time. The jack of clubs. So crazy hand there. Over $1,000 pot. George flopping top set. Nick flopping a straight and a flush draw. Nick hits the flush on the turn, and all the money goes in the middle. And then George hits a bigger flush on the river, and that's going to take George up to over $1,000, as he will now have $1,100 in his stack, $1,170 in his stack to be exact. And that's going to take Nick all the way down, as he now just has less than $200 in his stack after taking that big hit.
Oh, here we go.
Action under the gun on side, king 4 offsuit into the muck. George just doubled up last hand, over 1,000 in his stack, and will now take a break as he folds the 5-3. Queen 7 of hearts for the Cajun Asian, and he's going to be bumping it up to $15. Nicotine makes the call. Champ making the call. David T's probably going to put out a 3-bet here. Should be 75, and it looks like 75.
You make one bad fold, and you make one bad fold right after that. You were trying to get a discount. Keep on putting one when it's on that small line.
Poker gods paid me back.
Nicotine might call here with this king queen. I think he would call for sure if it was suited. He is up on the session as he bluffed George earlier, and you can see George just doubling up now is laughing and smiling, but that wasn't the case when Nicotine bluffed him off of his 2-pair earlier. And as I said, the only player I could see calling is Nicotine, and he does just that. Basically a 60-40 situation here. Both players with live cards, ace 10 versus king queen. And the flop coming jack high, but no player has a jack. David should be putting out a continuation bet here. It's going to be probably about 100, maybe 130. Ooh, small. 65. So the down bet, normally you see the down bet in tournaments, but David T with the down bet here. And he's going to get a call. He's ahead right now. Nicotine needing a king or a queen. The board does pair on the turn. Let's see if Nicotine tries to represent this 5. Oh, he says 200, and that's going to work. So Nicotine came to play tonight as he made a move earlier with the pocket 8s, and he's making a move here, and I think it's going to work again. David T looks a little confused, but he's going to have to give him credit. Keep in mind, the 7-deuce game is on. The 7-deuce game is on. So the players always have that in the back of their mind. Is this guy playing the 7-deuce for the bounty? If a player wins with 7-deuce, everybody at the table owes them $5 the first time. The next time a player, doesn't have to be the same player, could be another player. The next time a player wins, now it is up to $10 per person. And it goes up every $5. I don't know if it's going to get hit once tonight. As I said, we're on a 15-minute delay.
I don't even know where she died. I was young, bro. When she was serving, like trying to distract her. She made it. She was like that.
So Ray's coming for George with the king 5 under the gun, off suit. Cajun Asia makes the call, Nicotine makes the call, and David with the ace king. Same situation as before. Everybody limps, and he makes it 75. This time, Tony calls with the ace king. And I don't know if it's going to... I don't know if any of these other players are going to call. Got the Cajun Asian he's calling, which is probably going to bring in Nicotine. So Cajun Asian actually in good shape here. He's actually favored to win right now as the ace-king. They're sharing each other's cards. And he's going to hit the queen. So it's already 262 in the middle. And is David T going to put out the continuation bet? Oh, is that an ace on the turn? Wow, ace on the turn here. David T checks to trap, and he thinks he's trapping Tony here, but did he fold? Wow. I thought he checked the ace to trap, but it turns out he was scared of the flush. I don't think he had a diamond because Tony had the king of diamonds in his hand, so there's no way that he had a diamond. So Tony put in out a pretty big bet on the turn, basically a pot-sized bet on the turn, and David just thought that he had it, so they would have chopped. But as it happens a lot in poker, especially no-limit hold'em, normally the aggression is going to be rewarded, and you can see there where it was supposed to be a chop pot, but Tony, playing his hand more aggressive, was able to get David to fold there. Another king, another limp coming from under the gun. All right, 3 ways to the flop we go. And it's going to be a flush draw for both the Cajun Asian and Tony P, and none of them bet it. So the flush coming on the turn, and Cy has the ace-high flush draw, and he's going to bet. Let's see if this gets crazy. No, Cajun Asian's going to raise here. If he just called, I think he would have got it all in with Tony, and Tony is just going to go with his flush draw here, and he is drawing dead. D-E-D, dead. So Cy with a pair and a flush draw, but he bet the turn. Cajun Asian raising him, and now somebody else raising him. So he obviously knows one of these two players has a flush, and he will finally make the fold. And obviously Cajun Asian making the call. Tony's drawn dead here, so the double up to the Cajun Asian, a $781 pot. It doesn't matter if they run it 10 times, the result's going to be the same. So Tony taking a hit here. He's still going to have chips left over, as they do get an exact count for the Cajun Asian. So the exact count was 297, and the dealer will take care of it, as they did change dealers. Looks like we got Enrique in the box. Apparently, I have never witnessed this before, but apparently on the basketball court, he's known as Kobe.
Well, I hate it. Like, I think he had the A's, the clubs on these, and then another maybe a pair.
So pre-flop raising here. Cy late to the party, but he has been the most aggressive. Still haven't hit that 20 hand mark where I really pay attention to those stats. And nobody has won with the 7 deuce yet. So under the gun from Nicotine. He will fold. Champ in the middle there. also making the fold. Nick.M24 should be coming in for about 20. Makes it 15 with the ace-jack offsuit. David with the queen 10 puts out the 3-bet here to 50.
Nick, have you seen anything at the Sphere yet? No. Concert, music, no? I've been watching. It's going to be a one-off event. Like, we're not going to get that very often.
The side make the call here with 6-4? Yeah, he made the call. So as I said, I think this is Sai's first time on the stream, and he has come to play. He's got that Friday night fever. Nick just making the call with the best hand here. He will be first to act in this $157 pot. And it's going to come king high with 2 9s. David, who 3-bet pre-flop, will continue his story that he has a big hand, and this should work and does work. It looks like Sai going to be taking a little break, as he did needs to go outside to use his phone, and he's doing just that, as you cannot be on electronics at the table. We are on a 15-minute delay, which should take care of any shenanigans, but just to be sure, we make sure that nobody is able to use their phones at the table. So under the gun, it'll be Champ first to act. Five deuce suited, pretty hand, but he's under the gun, so he will fold. David, who just won last hand, is going to come in for a raise here. Is it 15? Tony just makes the call with the ace-jack. Second time we see him just call a raise with a big ace. Worked out for him last time, as he was able to get David T to fold his ace-king. And David T will flop a flush draw, and he's going to bet tiny here. So everybody with something here, as George with a gut shot, a pair and a gut shot, Tony with a gut shot, and David T with a flush draw. To the turn we go, and David hits his flush right away. And now he's going to size it up to 75, hoping somebody has 2 pair. And that's not going to get a call from Tony. George does have a pair, a straight draw, and a flush draw. He's got the second nut flush draw. The problem is David has the nut flush draw, the nut flush. He's no longer on a draw. His hand is made. George does not want to see a club, and he does not. So I don't think he's going to lose any more money in this hand. $250 in the middle. And David gonna put out a big bet here, hoping his opponent has at least 2 pair, but I cannot see George calling here. So not sure if you noticed the line here from David T. He raised pre-flop, bet the flop, bet the turn, and is now betting the river. So in general, when you see a player take a line like that, it's normally going to be nuts or nothing. And you can see in this case, it is nuts. But normally, if somebody raises pre-flop and fires all 3 streets like David is doing here, it's going to be nuts or nothing. Normally, a player will try to get like 2 streets of value, which is why when they go all 3 streets, it's either going to be, it's basically very, very polarizing. I mean, it's not the case all the time, but Normally it's going to be nuts or nothing when they raise pre-flop and bet every single street. All right, looks like we got some action in the chat. And George finally makes the fold. If this is your first time joining us here for the stream from South Texas, Texas Card House, Rio Grande Valley, we are one of 6 Texas Card House locations in the state of Texas, one of 4 streaming locations. There are 6 locations, one in South Texas, that's us, Rio Grande Valley area to be exact. One in Central Texas, that's going to be TCH Austin. They're the original location. 2 in North Texas, one in the city of Dallas and one next door in the city of Irvin, TCH Las Colimas. And then 2 in East Texas, one in the city of Houston and one just north of Houston in the city of Spring. So 6 total locations, and they do stream from one of the North Texas locations, TCH Dallas. They stream from one of the East Texas locations, TCH Houston. They stream from here, South Texas, and stream from TCH Austin. So there are 4 different streaming locations, and we are one of them. So welcome if it's your first time on either the TCH live stream or watching the action from the Rio Grande Valley, as we got a pretty big hand here brewing, as it's your classic ace versus king situation. And it's going to come 7 deuce deuce. Keep in mind, the 7 deuce game is in effect, and that might come into play this hand, as both players started the hand with about $1,000. George with the continuation bet here. And he's going to get a call here from Nicotine. Doesn't believe that George has a big pocket pair, but that is not the case. Jack of clubs coming on the turn. As I said, the 7 deuce game is in effect.
If he hits a bull, he'll knock the bull out. I think in his prime, honestly, in his prime, I think that he would do that.
Who is harder, Joshua or him?
So,
Wilder in his prime, bro, was
looks like a pot-sized bet coming from George here. Oh, and Nicotine is not letting go of his ace-king here. Oh, Nicotine's going all in. So this is the 3rd time Nicotine making the move, and I think it's going to be 3 strikes and you're out, because I think he got caught this time as... Yeah, George has to call. He bet 350 on the turn. It's another 800. If he has 7 deuce, he has 7 deuce. Ace or king? No, George is going to be scooping the big pot here with queens. So that's going to take George to over $2,000 for the night. He bought him for $500, and he has spun that up in 21 hands. 21 hands, so less than 3 orbits. He goes from 500 to 2,000. His previous hand, he had pocket jacks and won with that hand. Now he has pocket queens and wins here. Cajun Asian also winning. Oscar and David Tui, everybody else in the red.
I grew up, and I say this with a lot of pride, I'm one of those kids that grew up where we had to wait in line till midnight to get our food for government assistance. And so, even my brother...
So I think Nicotine's going to rebuy.
To get to that. So when I talk to kids, when I go to college, when I go to...
And looks like George is going to be coloring up here. You can see all those red chips. He's going to trade them out to get some green chips. The table talk centering around Champ there in seat 5. As if you do not know or are not aware, he is a former heavyweight champion.
But he was one of the only guys heavyweight in the area when I was coming up.
And he did fight for the WBC title twice. Once here in the U.S. against Deontay Wilder in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and once in Manchester, England against Anthony Joshua. So both those heavyweights are still active. Both of them have won the heavyweight belt before. And the local kid from down here in the Rio Grande Valley bought them both. And that's why he goes by Champ. Because he did win some championships along the way to get to a chance to win the IBC and WBC heavyweight belts. And Nicotine's back. So the Jack's picking up 3 callers. And it is a paired board here. Looks like it's going to go check around. It's Champ with the Jacks and Champ. Oh, what a card here. Champ hits his full house and George makes his straight. David also makes his straight, and Nick has a flush draw. What a crazy card. 2 people make a straight. 1 person hits a full house. The other person has a flush draw. And is George just going to call? No, he's going to put out a raise here. And I kind of like to see just the call here from Champ, as he does have 2 players left tack behind him. I think he just might raise, though, just because he's putting one of these players on a king. But that's not the case. And no, he just calls. I know if I was in his seat, I would for sure put one of these players on a king. But somehow that is not the case. Nobody has a king. And look, everybody's calling this raise. Oh, David T's going to make the fold. Yeah. David T knows something is up. He showed his neighbor there his cards. And a spade. A spade is going to wreck Nick here. Okay, Nick misses the spade, which is actually a good thing. And there's $400 in the pot, $300 in Champ's stack. And he should just be going all in here. Tiny bet. He wants to get max value, and he's going to get that, as George is going to be calling for sure, might be raising. And he's raising. Snap call from Champ. And Champ will be knocking out George here. Action, action, turn.
Yeah, I figured you had that.
There's no way it's good.
What they're pleasing, though.
So the dealer get an account. And Nick.M24 seeing that he actually got lucky by not hitting his flush, because he would have lost all his chips. He's taken a couple of hits as he will probably look back at his stream and think or say to himself, if I call with those kings early on, then this stream might go totally different. But he did fold kings earlier versus a flush draw. I don't know if the flush draw would have got there on the river, but I guarantee you Nick right now is thinking, I should have called with those kings, because he would have had a much different stack size than he has right now. No straddle. Action's going to be on Tony. Like I said, he does live in Austin. You can see he is wearing the Austin FC shirt there.
They're still in awesome. So if we need more guys like they really, it's harder. All overall,
So you were 18
So George taking a hit. Cajun Asian with the 9s. Is it going to be 15 or 20? Looks like 20. Nicotine back in with the Queen Jack offsuit.
We go around to Oscar de la Hoya. We go to different promotions.
Heads up we go. Cajun Asian versus Nicotine. And an ace and a king coming on the flop. And Cajun Asian don't care. He's still going to bet. Nicotine needs a 10 for a straight. So he's going to call the $20. And that's going to put the brakes on this hand. 4 coming on the turn.
Needed somebody to take me out of local. Yeah. To get me to
Cajun Asian finally checks. And Nicotines is back to his bluffing ways. It's going to be hard for the 9s to call here, and you can see the 9s do fold. Nice hand. Nice play by Nicotine there. Every once in a while you're going to get caught, and even when he got caught, he still had outs, as it was ace-king versus queens, and he was not able to hit an ace or a king on the river. But he's just not bluffing with air. He did have a gut shot straight draw. And we do have an under the gun straddle.
You better get ready. So they told me.
but you'll be all right. You'll be fine. 8 days. Who is it? Number 6. I guess if you win, you get that.
All right, George with the ace jack. Raising it up to 25.
An opportunity. He shortchanged me, threw me to the sharks, but I knocked the guy out. I beat him and took his belt, came back, took it to the classroom, and then fast forward, I fight
So Oscar's going to defend his straddle with the king 4 offsuit. Queen high flop coming. If George puts out a continuation bet, it should work here. And looks like he's going to do just that. He did raise pre-flop to 25, but that's because there was a $25, there was a $10 straddle from under the gun.
Well, in boxing, let me tell you, the worst thing you could do as a fighter is go train a fight and not fight. Year after year after year after year. Because you're putting your body through all that, and the outcome of where you want to go and be is stalled out. And so at least he got me to where I needed to go and figure out those fights. And it was like, let's go. Because I didn't have time.
Got some action on the chat here. Let's see what we got.
I know fighters that wait years and years and years and years. They don't get that opportunity.
Yeah, so got
And they're sitting around.
Gym Master Ted in the chat.
Struggling. Yeah, it's hard.
How much money do you, to run a good camp, how much money do you need to put up?
Just depends.
Like a top tier fight.
When I fought Wilder, maybe like 35K. 35.
But that was a quick turnaround. But like when you fought Joshua.
So sign out of his seat. He still gets cards. George limps in with 5-3 offsuit.
Just bring in 2 guys.
Nicotine
I'll bring in 2 sparring partners.
making the call as well. 8-6 offsuit. Champ making the call.
Wilder would pay me. Wilder would pay me $3 grand a week. Just me, and there's 4 guys there. So it just depends.
You keep on fighting Underdog King, or you went after that?
David with the raise.
With him, and then I fought, my manager.
Yeah, you got the.
And George calling with the 5-3 offsuit. So Champ in the hand, and the table talk kind of revolving around him as he does flop bottom pair, but 2 players flopping top pair. So Oscar had this situation earlier where he flopped a pair and a flush draw. Has the situation again. And let's see if he puts out the check raise. As I said, I think he should have check raised last time. He did not. And I don't think he's going to check raise again. Has the same hand as David, but he's actually free rolling him because he does have a flush draw to go along with his top pair. Champ has a pair and a straight draw. 10 of hearts. 5 of clubs. So last time Oscar put in the check raise on the turn, but nobody's going to bet the turn this time. All right, so we're going to have a chop pot between Oscar and David. And Champ's not able to improve on his hand. But Champ, his name in the ring was Eric Molina, went by Drummer Boy. So he went by Drummer Boy in the ring, and actually Don King was one of his promoters early on in his career, and basically letting the table know about the fight game on how everything works behind the scenes. Basically, any profession is going to have politics involved, whether or not you like it or not. There's going to be politics involved in most professions, and boxing has a ton in regards to who your promoter is, what the sanctioning body is, what the network is, everything like that, which I think is one of the reasons why UFC was able to find a foothold in the MMA world, because they're pretty much the main attraction, and there's pretty much one guy that's in charge. And obviously, it can be very good, it can be very bad, but love him or hate him, you do have somebody to blame if a fight does not happen.
I'm on my way.
But in boxing, there's so many other people involved in making a fight happen. When it comes to the UFC, it's just one person. And obviously, he's not always right, and obviously, people and fighters don't like him, and that's understandable. But you do have just one person who is able to make that decision, where in boxing, like 10 different people have to get together to make a fight happen. UFC, one person gets together. All right, flush draw for David, and a pair of kings for George, pair of kings for Nicotine, and it's going to be Tony betting his jack high here. And nobody's going to fold.
That fight was at the Grande Center, I think, in LA. And that fight, I fought right before the main event.
Flush coming right on the turn for David.
As a matter of fact,
Nobody really has anything to call him with, though. Two players do have a king, but the ace is on the board, which is probably going to scare him away.
so Wilder won that night.
Nicotine is the wild card here. He can
I fought right before that.
do something out of the ordinary.
Well, Don had said that if I beat
And the card reader might have picked up Tony hands wrong here, because I can maybe see him betting the flop, but this bet on the turn makes no sense. And you can see that David has the flush that's going to be calling him. So maybe Tony has like two pair or maybe a set.
But that's a good amount.
But either way, the jack high flush is the best hand.
now I know that I'm going to fight for the title, so I could.
So Tony P's going for it again, and like I said, when somebody bets all three streets, it's going to be nuts or nothing, and he's going to get. Oh, what happened there?
You know what's crazy is that I
What?
That 1 year that I took
What was that?
year
Yeah, so Tony didn't have anything, and it looked like he was going to bet, but David called him, E-Snap called him as it looked like he was going to bet. I don't know if he did bet. You do have the option of rewinding where you're watching. I cannot. I'm seeing this live. I cannot rewind, but it looked like David was cutting out some chips to bet, and I don't know if he started pushing them forward, but I think David thought that he had pushed them forward. So I will definitely go back and see that hand. Like I said, it was it looked like he was getting ready to bet. Maybe David said something, or David motioned something to get him to second guess that. Cajun Asian under the gun, making the raise to 10. Oh, Nick. That M24. Is he going to 30 here with the 25 with the ace king? I don't understand this play.
Yeah, I would go there because there was no sparring here for me. I would go to Laredo, and Hector was the only one that was sparring. I never.
There we go. That's why I haven't seen Cy here before. He's actually from Laredo. Laredo is also on the border like the Rio Grande Valley, but it's a little bit further north up the river, up the Rio Grande River. And as I said, I don't understand this raise by Nick.M24. If somebody in the comments wishes to explain this raise to me, let me know. Oh, here we go.
Laredo?
So this is what happened last hand. RG3 letting us know he was about to raise, and then he called early, saved the bluff for money.
I used to live in Laredo. I haven't been there in a long time. Really? Yeah, I used to go play with, I guess the guy's name was Alex.
Yeah, big games. Gustavo Elizondo.
In a locker match.
Yeah.
All right, so both Nick Atine and Nick.M24 hitting an ace here. Cajun Asian hitting a 10. Oscar with the gut shot.
He now has a big sport book.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he was my bookie over there.
Yeah, he's grown that company huge. He's like an affiliate of
And a small bet, and once again a small raise. So this hand being played very, very cautiously, in my opinion. And even George is going to come along here with bottom pair.
scary big.
No, one of my buddies.
And everybody calling.
I've been in with the Vegas a couple of times.
And the 10 coming on the turn. Cajun Asian coming from behind.
On Super Bowl weeks.
He was your initial raiser.
He didn't like to lay off bets on other people.
And how much does he have in his stack? Oh, he's got a decent amount in his stack.
It's like my dad said.
Nicotine going to continue here.
I mean, the house
And now,
always wins.
Nick M? Or does he just call?
If you play the
Cajun Agent should be check raising here.
and then do make it
If the Cajun Agent does not check raise, he checks. So obviously at least one other person's going to call here. But if he does not check raise here, then I'm just going to have to go to some sort of trading site or something, because this hand has been played very, very passive. What is it, 55? So maybe take it to 200. There's also clubs out there now.
you're not with PNC anymore.
So this again. All right, so I have no idea what's going on. Wow. Like I said, if somebody in the comments wants to explain this hand to me, I am thoroughly confused about what is happening here. And the crazy part is, we see the cards, I see the cards, and I have no idea what is going on here. Now is the Cajun Nation going to raise?
I got my license here, and then I went to Laredo, and then we did well in Laredo, and then they moved me and my partner to Houston.
He just called.
Moved my partner to Houston, and then from there we, I just kept started getting
Okay, this I actually understand because I think he's trying to bring nicotine in. So this play I can get behind. Everything else up until this point, I am thoroughly confused, folks. And his plan did not work. So Cajun Asian will win the hand. And that showing you right there, there's definitely more than one way to skin a cat. There's definitely more than one way to play trips. And the Cajun Asian showing us the passive way. $5-6 for nicotine coming in for the limp under the gun. Ace-4 for Champ into the muck. 9-7 for Nick.M24. This is going to be at least 20, maybe 25. All right, so far, so good. This is making sense to me.
It was his fault. He should have just waited. He just waited a little longer. On the last one, I was about to throw in, and before I threw it, he left shifts, I came to the pond. So then I checked it, and you good with that? You good with that?
Oh, here we go. So top pair versus bottom pair. Oh, check, check. Oscar getting tricky here. Check, check again. Check, check again. Wow. Okay. Is Oscar finally going to bet here? Okay, he finally bets. 25. It's showing it's a queen on the river, but it is not. It was, I believe, a 7 or an 8 on the river. Oh, he's going to get paid off here. Usually knowing the hold cards and usually knowing a player's tendencies, you're kind of able to predict what they're going to do. But like I said, that hand 2 hands ago with the ace-king suited and the trips and everything like that, I mean, I was thoroughly turned around, confused, had no idea what the players were thinking. So under the gun, Champ, action will be on him. Oh, 7 deuce. The 7 deuce game is on, folks, if you're just joining us. They did agree, $5 per person. And Champ is just going to limp in here, hoping to take down the pot. And Cy will be making the raise with the pocket 8s at 25. Cajun Asian calling with the 5-6 of club. I think Champ's going to come along. Yeah, he wants that bonus. So second time somebody goes after the bonus. First time they raise it up with the 7 deuce. This time they're just calling. And nicotine with the ace, he does get rid of it. So we will go 4 ways to a flop. 3 ways to a flop. Pocket 8's way out in front. 70% chance to win right now. Oh, and we got a 7. Champ. $80 in the pot. $30 bet. And the Cajun Asian flopping open-ended here. He can't fold. One of the reasons why he called with 5-6 is to flop a hand, and he flops a straight draw. A diamond's going to kill the action here. But it's an ace, which is probably an action killer as well. So, Cy, your pre-flop raiser. All right, Chap is done with it. So far, 2 players have had 7 deuce. None of them have won with it. And a bluff will work here from the Cajun Asian if he misses. Oh, an 8 will be gross. An 8 will be gross. But he does get there with the 3. And he's not going to make much more money with the ace and the king out there. You can see there's over $300 in the pot. And I say probably about $100. Nah. The way this hand was played, and I don't blame him, he thinks his opponent has an ace. Oh, his opponent called. Wow. So Cy put in the Cajun Asian on a missed flush draw. So Cajun Asian sizing that perfect on the river. And as I said, can only speculate these moves, but I feel he put Cy on a big ace, as Cy was the pre-flop raiser, and bet again. When the ace came on the turn, he bet, so he sized it up. And then on the flip side, Cy put the Cajun Asian on a missed flush draw and thought that his 8s were good, but that was not the case. He was on the straight draw and got there on the river. Ace Queen for Nicotine, just making the call, and Cy is going to be making the raise here. There was a $10 button straddle from the Cajun Asian. George C needs to get rid of the Jack-6 and does. Cajun Asian with the suited queen is going to make the call. And does Nicotine. Oh, is he raising? No. It's just the call. So I thought Nicotine just called the $10 straddle to raise, but that was not the case. Oscar's also in this hand with the pocket 5s, which is actually the best hand right now. Ace high flop. Cy flopping 2 pair, and Cy has less than a pot size bet. So Cy's going to be going all in here once it's checked to him. And Nicotine will be making the call. Nicotine looking for a queen or a tray. A tray also works. A tray will be kind of dirty, to be honest with you. Does Oscar call with the 5s? He can't call with the 5s. Well, obviously he can do whatever he wants, but it's just too much to call with the 5s. And he agrees. So Nicotine looking for a tray or a queen or an 8. And he is going to miss all of that. It's going to be 2 pair, the ace deuce aside, who took the big hit the previous hand when he decided to make a hero call with his pocket 8s. He was wrong that hand. And this hand, he's the one that gets lucky now, as his ace deuce was dominated by the ace queen, but he was able to make 2 pairs to outdraw his opponent. Nice hand. So I believe maybe Speed Seeker here is referring to the burn cards. Why he put those 3 cards face down. So those are the burn cards. I believe that's what you are referring to. Is that a funny card in the profile picture? Or a pro stocker? I'm not sure if I can. Ace 10 of diamonds for George. Going to be raising to 40. Queen Jack offsuit for the Cajun Asian. He likes to see flops, but not as much as Nicotine. Nicotine with the 6 deuce, the natural 6. Makes the call. So Oscar just calling the straddle here with the ace 8. And he does make the good fold. Doesn't want to play out of position. Huge flop from George. I like a check here. But he is going to put out a big bet here as he flops top pair and a flush draw. And you can see Nicotine has nothing to call him with. And he will get the fold. As I said, I don't know if Speed Seeker here is familiar with the burn cards, but I'm assuming that's what he was asking about. And I'm assuming that's either a funny card or a pro stock in his profile picture. No straddle this hand, as action will be on Tony P under the gun. Queen 7. Oscar once again just making the call with a ace rag hand.
I saw it. I was like, hey, maybe it's a system. It's kind of like, yeah, like weird.
So it looks like we're going 6 ways to a flop.
No, she's from
10 high flop, 2 spades. Nick flopping top pair is going to lead right out.
I picked up one of his bars. Spencer Ryder to the Saints. Spencer Ryder. Huh? Who he paid for?
George making the call with middle pair and backdoor spades. Trips for Nick. And he's going to slow play it. Oh, and it's going to work here as George hitting his queen. But the queen is not good here. So Nick can actually size up. He doesn't know that, but he's going to bet half pot here. And George will be calling him. Oh! Yeah, like I said, George thought that he got lucky hitting the queen here. But he actually got unlucky because Nick has trips. Very good check by Nick on the turn when he made his trips. And Nick just making the call. He figures he cannot raise because only a better hand calls him, and I think he's right there. So nice check on the turn by Nick there. There's the V-pip. And looks like we lost Cy. nicotine over 50% on the VPIP. And then on the bottom end, you got champ. So VPIP voluntarily put money in pot. And yes, we did lose Cy. His first time playing on the stream, joining us tonight. Oh, wait, he's still there. Oh, no, Cy's still here. It is actually George is the one that's leaving.
Yeah, back in town. Yeah. That thing's under litigation. Went to litigation, so we're back looking.
So seventh for the Cajun Asian is going to be calling the raise from Cy. And Cy actually has 2 overcards to the pocket pair. And looks like we're going to be going heads up to a flop.
Gentlemen, you guys have a good one.
So 2 players with 9-8 and 1 player with ace-6 diamonds. We're actually going 4 ways to a flop. Oh, and it's going to come ace-5. So Tony P with the trips. Cajun Asian might bet here, as it is check to him, and he does have the pocket pair. $122 in the pot, puts out a small bet here. And that's pretty much going to let him know that somebody has an ace. 7 of spades for fun. It's a 9, so both the 9-8s would have hit. They would not have been good. And it looks like Tony's finally going to be betting here. And Cajun Asian might look him up just because the flush draw missed. No, he does make the fold. Maybe if there wasn't 2 overcards to a 7s, like if the queen or the 9 were smaller than the 7, he might have looked him up there. But sometimes your opponent can have a flush draw and wind up hitting a pair. And I feel like that's another reason why he folded. But it was the right fold. And he's our biggest winner so far of the night, almost up over 1,000 even after losing that hand. And we're going to have a dealer change here. Looks like we got Jeremiah coming back. So dealer change and seat open.
Title event runs from August 28th through September 3rd. Get in this Poker Atlas Tour multi-flight tournament with a $900 buy-in. More information at texascardhouse.com.
Get in the $30,000 guaranteed first-hand tournament for a $100 buy-in. $10,000 added to first place, all part of the grand opening of TCH Social Austin. TCH Social Austin's grand opening, $300,000. Guaranteed multi-flight tournament runs from August 29th through September 2nd. Get into any of the 12 flights with a $250 buy-in. TCH Social Austin presents the $50,000 Black Chip Bounty Tournament on Labor Day, September 2nd. $300 buy-in. Cards in the air at 2 p.m.
So a lot of huge events coming up here at all of the Texas Card House locations across the state. Jack coming on the turn. Nicotine's going to call with his straight draw. No, he's going to raise. Cajun Asia not folding top pair. Nicotine going for it again with the bluff. Can the Cajun Asian make the call? He is up, but it is hard to call with just one pair. And he's going to flash the jack there. So Nicotine has definitely got a lot of bluffs through tonight. The players don't know this, but they will find out once they watch the stream. You can see it is 8:03 here. That is Texas time. That's 8:03 when this hand took place. Like I said, we're on a 15-minute delay. And we do have an under-the-gun straddle coming from the Cajun Asian who just got bluffed that last pot. Action will be on Nicotine. Ace-7. Six-3 of diamonds for David. Does he raise? No, just calls. It's Cy with the raise. So Cy's been pretty aggressive since sitting down. He was the last player to join the table. And he's definitely made up for lost time. And I just said, you can see the aggressive frequency there, Cy leading the way. So Jeremiah back in the box. He will deal for 1 hour till about 9 o'clock Texas time, and then he will switch off to Enrique Quique for the last hour. So got just under 2 hours to go on tonight's stream. If you still have not hit the like button, we do appreciate it. And if you want to let us know where you're watching from tonight, the YouTube comments are available. Oscar with the $20 raise on the button. And he's going to pick up callers from the small blind, the big blind, and the limper. Just like that, we have an $80 pot. And it's going to come queen high with 2 clubs. So Nicotine flopping huge as he flops a pair and a flush draw. The Cajun Asian also flopping huge. He flops a straight draw and a flush draw. And Cy's the one leading out with top pair. He actually has the best hand right now. Does Nicotine just call here or does he raise? Ah, here he goes. Oh, he's just calling? Oh, a club will get the Cajun Asian in trouble. 9 of clubs is a straight flush though, right? 7, 8, 9, 10 jack, yeah. And 9 of clubs would give Cy 2 pair. It is a club. Cajun Asians getting in trouble here. They check the turn? That ace of clubs is going to save the Cajun Asian some chips. Oh, it's Cy going all in? No, Cy makes a bet. He is representing a big club. Yeah, the Cajun Asian's going to have to call. Yeah, so Cajun Asian actually getting lucky. I thought a lot of chips were going to go in the pot on the turn, but Cy actually saving the Cajun Asian some money as it just cost them $140. Flush versus flush, and you only lose $140 in a 2-5 game. I would consider that a win. Oh, so Speed Seeker from Romania. And then we got Jesus Trevino watching from the RGB. This is a 2-5 cash game. 2-5 cash game. The reason why Speed Seeker's little avatar caught my eye is because before I was a poker commentator, I was an announcer for the NHRA, National Hot Rod Association. So I was like, oh, a fellow drag racer. My dad still goes out to the local track here in the Rio Grande Valley. Drag strip quarter mile. Live my life quarter mile at a time. Ace Queen of clubs for Oscar. Gonna be raising it up. Cajun Asian making the call with the sixes. And Nicotine loves to see flops, and he will see this flop with the 7-4 of diamonds. And it's going to come 9 high. The 6 is still good. And Cajun Asian puts out a little blocker bet. Oscar will make the call here. Backdoor flush draw. Ace or queen for the immediate win. Flush gets there. It's going to go check, check. And Cajun Nation should win this hand if he calls the $80 on the river. And he does not. So second time tonight we see the Cajun Asian get bluffed. And sometimes you got to fold the best hand. That's how it goes.
Barrel, table 9.
Cajun Nation still up though. So he's the current big winner of the stream, as George did cash out, but you can see he's up over $500, and that's because he's got him bluffed twice. David and Champ also in the positive, and Oscar in the positive as well. So basically the haves and have-nots there. $10 button straddle. Nicotine with the king, queen will make the call. David not in his seat. 9-10 for Oscar also just makes the call. Cy raising with the 5s. He has definitely been the most aggressive player tonight. And then Nicotine, on the other hand, has definitely been the bluffiest player tonight. Cy making it 50, gets a call from Nicotine, gets a call from Oscar. 3 ways to a flop we go. Over $150 in the middle. And Oscar's going to hit his 10, but Nicotine hits top pair with a king kicker. So 165 in the middle. Does Oscar bet his middle pair? No, he slows down. And Cy also checks. Ward pairing on the turn, bottom pair. I think Nicotine is finally going to put some money in this pot. Looks like $40. 45. Is it 45? No, it's 50. So that was actually a bad turn for Oscar, as now his 9 is no good. He still has his straight draw, though. And Cy would have hit a full house on the river if he would have stayed in with his 5s. He did make the proper fold at the proper time. And Cy going to put out $60 here. Oscar might be curious. Oscar might pay him off here. He's getting a really good price. And Oscar does pay him off. This is pre-flop raising, and as I said, Cy has definitely been the most aggressive so far. You can see there's 3 players, Nicotine Champ and Tony P, who have not raised pre-flop yet. They have called raises, but they have not been the ones that were doing the raising. So kind of crazy. We see the number. We see the number of hands that Nicotine has played, but he has just been calling pre-flop. Now, once the flop comes out, that's when he will get tricky. And once again, you can see Nicotine just calling a raise here. Champ coming along with the king-queen. And we are going 5 ways to a flop. $130 in the middle. And it's going to be all spades. Tony P flopping a flush. The second nuts here is only the queen high. Oh, Nicotine flops a flush as well. And is it going to go check around? Wow, it goes check around. Board pairs on the turn now. $55 for Tony P. Does the paired board save Nicotine chips? He's gonna lose chips. That's a given. The question is it gonna be 55 or is it gonna be all the chips? And it looks like he just calls here. Yeah, so only 55 so far. What happens on the river? If the board pairs here again, he just might be able to get away. Let's see. The board pairs again. So none of these players liking it. As a matter of fact, Tony P checks. And Nicotine might get a bluff through here. No, the bet's going to be too small. I think Tony... Oh, no, it worked. It worked. It was an insta-fold by Tony P. And Nicotine's going to show it. I didn't think that would work. And the reason why I didn't think it would work is because we've seen Nicotine bluff a lot tonight, but these players at the table have not seen these bluffs. It's a great play by Nicotine there, as he was supposed to lose a lot of chips there, and instead of losing any chips, he wins the chips. So how much is the buy-in? And that is correct. Somebody answering there in the chat, so appreciate it. So this game is a $200 minimum buy-in. This is a special stream game. Now most of the games here at the Texas Card House will have a $100 minimum buy-in. The majority of games that run here on any given day, it's going to be a 1-3 cash game, and the minimum buy-in to that cash game is $100. This is a special game since it is being streamed. Okay, Janasian with the aces. Small 3-bet here, but it looks like it's going to be a good size as it should clear out the other players and get him heads up with Sai here. And you can see, so small raise sizing, but he's getting a customer with the aces, and he's in position, more importantly. Sai does not want to hit a king or a 10, and he's gonna, how much does Sai have left in his stack? Yeah, he has exactly a pot-sized bet, so all the chips are going in the middle, and he's gonna, yeah, he's gonna say all in. Snap call by the Cajun Asian. Sai's gonna need a 10 or a 9. 10, 9, or ace. A king is no good for him, as it'll give the Cajun Asian a straight. So he needs a 10, a 9. Oh, he gets the 10. So even though Cajun Asian getting his aces cracked, he did lose to the player that had the least amount of chips. Cajun Asian winning a big pot earlier with the king 10 offsuit against ace king, and now he loses a big pot against king 10. Like I said, Sai was the shortest stack, so even though he got his aces cracked, it was for less than 250. You can see we're up to hand number 40. The stream does play a little bit slower. The stream does play a little bit slower just because the cards are actually harder to shuffle. They do have a special chip in each card, so the reader can pick them up. So the dealers really aren't used to shuffling these cards. They are slicker, and they are just a bit thicker as well. So the shuffling takes a little bit longer, and then the action also takes a little bit longer, making sure that all the cards get scanned properly. And then the action post-flop also takes a little bit longer because the dealer has to announce the bets. That's why he has the headphone. He's announcing the bets to the production room, and the production room will put all that information into the computer. The program is known as the action tracker. King high flop. Oh, Oscar, second time he has the 7 deuce. And let's see if he tries to represent it here on the turn. $47 in the pot. No, he's going to check it again. Oh, like a $50 bet. Let's take it down here. $50 bet. 7 deuce game is in effect. $50 will work. Oh, here we go. Here we go. So. So I think the 7 deuce game is still on. I'm not sure if they stopped it. There we go.
Hey, you broke even. Yeah, because I'm out of that hand because I thought I was going to win. I'm like, yeah.
So the next time somebody wins, it should be going up to $10 here.
Can you change his name to B7 too on the screen? He doesn't want to be called Oscar. Or the big O, I don't know.
No, C3. Hold on, everybody can scan real quick.
All right, and as I was talking about, they need to make sure all the cards get scanned properly. That's why it does take a little bit longer. Normally, it's at least somewhere between 80 and 100 hands that we will get in on each stream. So Sai mixing it up with the 5-3 of hearts under the gun, coming in for the raise for 20. You can see there's actually 2 players missing from their seats. So Nicotine away and David away from their seats, and we do have a seat open as well. So 3 empty seats right now, as it is going to come king high with 2 8s. So Cy's going to bet the turn here if Oscar checks again, and there's the check. Here comes the bet from Cy. No. And now Oscar's going to hit a jack, and it's just going to go check all the way down. So I decided not to bluff it. I think a bluff on the turn would have worked. All right, $10 straddle from the Cajun Asian, as we can see the hands that went to showdown. Cy is your leader in that department, as well as Nicotine. Ace queen for Nicotine, but he's not in his seat. And this table is a little bit different, where the players know this beforehand. They cannot miss their blinds. In a normal cash game, if you miss your blind, you do get a little disc, a little button that says miss blind. So when you come back, then you pay. But this is treated as a tournament. And if they miss their blind, it does get posted. The players are aware of this. And the reason is because of the tracking software. The way it works is there's no way to have a dead button and stuff like that. So Cajun Asian with the straddle wakes up with jacks. Oh, and he's getting action from Cy with the 2 undercards. I like a check here with the jacks. And it's going to be a tiny bet. Really, the only thing I guess you're worried about is queen 10, 10-8. Very unlikely anybody else has a jack, which is why I like the check when you flop top set there. So you can see Cy, 34% aggressive frequency. Still 2 players away from their seats. There are 3 1-3 cash game tables going on right now on the main floor. Ace high flop, 2 diamonds. And Oscar's going to have the ace. Checking it back. Cajun Asian hitting a 7. And it's going to go checked all the way down. And that's going to take Oscar into the green. As David, now your big winner. Cajun Asian taking the hit, getting his aces cracked. Nicotine making a comeback. He's actually winning, but you can see he's in for over 1,500. So these players are not mic'd, however, there are microphones on top of the table. So I'm able to hear the table talk, and that kind of gives you a feel of the table. And we saw this earlier with the ace-king suited hand versus the king-10, where it was played very passive. And that's the feel of the table right now. Queen high flop, 2 diamonds. A pair for Nick, a flush draw for the Cajun Asian. And Nick still in the lead with the 6. Cajun Asian with another small bet. Oh, and he's going to get the fold. So bluffing. Get into bluff through, flash into jack of diamonds. So he's got him bluffed a couple of times tonight, and now he's the one doing the bluffing. And he will put on a $10 button straddle. And actually, no, actually, they're going to pull that back. There you go. As I just mentioned, Nicotine is going to have to post. He did post his big blind. And the Cajun Asian is going to take back his straddle because Nick is straddling under the gun, which has priority. So you can straddle from under the gun, or you can straddle on the button. Under the gun has priority. So $10 under the gun straddle. Action is on David. He's back in his seat. Looks like he made a Starbucks run. Cajun Asian just making the call with the ace. Probably should be raising here, especially since he's essentially the button, since there's nobody in that seat right now. Normally you want to be raising in late position with your hands. Good hands and bad hands, mixing it up. Was that a $5 bet on the turn? And ace high is going to be good here. Sometimes this happens where you have a table that's too crazy, and sometimes you have a table that's too passive. And right now, for whatever reason, these players seem to be playing pretty passive. No, actually, it's on seat 5. It's on seat 5. Is that right? All right, under the gun straddle coming from David. I believe that's a straddle. Sai making sure his cards are scanned properly. And he's going to be raising here to 20, I think. Cajun Asian should be putting on the 3-bet here to like 60. Just calls with the ace-jack of hearts. Oh, so he's putting on the min raise here. As Sai, there was a $10 straddle, so Sai made it 20, raising $10. And now the Cajun Asian raising it $10 to 30. So it's not double the bet, it's double the raise.
Raise you $10.
So it goes $10 straddle. Somebody raises $10 the straddle, which was Sai, and then somebody raises Sai $10. And David's going to defend his straddle. And Cajun Asian's going to hit trips. And he's going to check, get it sneaky. And does he turn a flush draw too? And he checks again. So does David T take a stab at this pot with a 9? No reason to think he's not good. And that's exactly why he's calling. The 9 will be good here a lot of times, but not this time. All right, Nicotine back. Let the bluffing begin. We did have a straddle last hand. Let's see if we get a straddle this hand. The last 2 hands have had a straddle.
And over there, if you play, if you're open and you can press, people are going to be like, oh, he's fucking tight.
No straddle action on Tony P. And Tony P's just going to call with the suited ace under the gun. That's going to bring along the call from Oscar with the 7-8. And Cy, he's been the most aggressive player tonight. He does not disappoint. He raises it up with the suited connectors. And Champ calling the $5, but he did not see the raise. So that $5 will either be dead if he folds, he does not get the $5 back, or he can complete the bet, and he chooses to complete the bet with the 9 deuce of spades. As we're going 5 ways to a flop, looks like this passive table just needed some nicotine to get going, as we are now 5 ways to over $100 pot. Queen high coming on the flop, 2 hearts, and it is both Oscar and Cy flopping bottom pair, but David has top pair, and Champ has middle pair. So I don't think Champ was going to be in this hand if he knew that it was a $25 raise. He accidentally called the $5, and now he's just going with it here. So top pair versus middle pair. Champ looking for a 9 or a deuce. And there's the deuce. What's his size in? There's $200 in the pot already. He should be betting at least half pot here. David does check. I think he's going to bet less than half pot. I think he's going to bet less than 100. He's going to bet probably like 75. Survey says 65. No, 70.
Well, you bluff? You bluff? Yeah, bluff. When you show the 9, you bluff.
I don't know why they call me a bluff. I just bluff every other hand.
So Champs was not supposed to be in this hand, and he's going to wind up winning with the... Oh, wait, David T also had a deuce. I did not see that. Wow. It went check, check on the river. I thought Champ got really lucky on the turn. I kind of got caught up in the table talk conversation. So one of the reasons why David T went on his coffee run was he one I'm sure he wanted coffee, but during his drive over to Starbucks, he fired up TCH Live on the YouTube to see how the players were playing, and he saw the bluffs that Nicotine was able to get through. So he kind of sat back down and let Nicotine know, hey, Nice job getting those bluffs through. Oh, here come the aces. The last time somebody had aces, they got cracked. And he should be making it at least 100 here. This is way, way too small. And this is not based upon the strength of your opponent's hands, because I can see what the opponent's has, but he can't see it what the opponents have. So you want to be sizing up here. There was a $30 raise. Somebody calls the raise, and he just makes it 75. So almost the min raise. I think like a really advanced play here would be for the Cajun Asian to put out the 4-bet, but that is not the case. And as I said, I thought it was too small to get people to fold, and Champ is going to be calling here with the King-8 of diamonds. Just lost the last hand, and he's going to flop an ace right away. He does have the ace of clubs, so he should be checking back here. And Champ picks up some diamonds here. This is a spicy turn card. Champ's going to be checking again. Nick going to be putting some chips in the pot here. And Champ should be calling. He has a pair and a flush draw. So Champ should be calling here. Like I said, he has a pair and a flush draw. He thinks his king and 8 are live, but they're not. Oh, is he going with this? Oh, he's going with this. He's going to get snap called here. And he thinks his king and 8 are live, but they're not. And he sees that he's in really bad shape here. Only a diamond works for him, and he's going to run it twice. And that diamond cannot be an 8 or a 3. So Champ needed a diamond. Oh, quads, just quads. And Champ makes 2 pair, but like I said, that's not going to be good. So Champ going to take a big hit from Nick here. He's going to have some chips left over, but he loses a lot of his stack. So big double up there from Nick. And while I have a little chance, gotta give a shout out to the People's Commissioner of the Fantasy Football League, the People's Commish.
I was, but in the 8,
You were talking about giving the guys evaluation.
I had a
So there's a pre-flop raise, and you can see Cy way out in front. He has raised over a third of his hands. Oh, and we got a restraddle here. So as I said, this game kind of in the middle, is like in a little low. Both David and Nicotine were gone, and then once Nicotine came back, you can see it has just changed the dynamic of this table, as now we have a double straddle. The first time tonight we have a double straddle. 9-7 of diamonds for Champs. Just got in trouble with diamonds last hand, but he's not deterred. He will make the $20 call. Ace Jack for Tony P. So 4 ways to the flop we go. Everybody just calling the double straddle. Nobody raising, but we do have $90 in the pot. Top pair being hit by Champ. How much does he bet? 50? No, he checked. No, there we go. 50? 50 is a good bet. And he's going to bet 50. Maybe he heard me. Cajun Asian with a straight draw. An 8's also good for him. Needs an 8 or a 6. Going to be a queen. It's going to go check, check. Queen again on the river, so Champ's going to make a little bit back from what he just lost last hand when he ran into quad aces. Oh, Cajun Asian with the bluff here. He's tired of getting bluffed. He's been bluffed 3 times tonight. Oh, and he's going to get caught. Usually not a good idea to bluff on a paired board, as it's harder to get through. And the Champ making a good call there. And Cajun Asian at one time was up almost 1,000. He's still up, but now I think he's up only 200. All right, here comes the VPIP. Oscar actually leading the way. Both Oscar and the Cajun Asian in at over 50%. Nicotine and Cy in just under 50%. Nick in at 35%. And then the other 3 players in the 20 percentile. So Cajun Asian put in Champ on a flush draw. He knew 8 high wasn't going to win, but he knew he can bluff out a missed flush draw. But that was not the case, as Champ actually flopped top pair. So 6 high flop, Cajun Asian now flopping top pair, and he's gonna lead right out. And Nicotine making the call, which I'm sure he has plans of bluffing if he does not make his hand. Diamond on the turn, nice card to represent if he's going to do so. The only problem is Cajun Asian knows the Nicotine's already bluffed him tonight, so he's more likely to call him light. Oh, what is that? Oh, Cajun Asian gets bluffed again. You could see very frustrated when he got his aces cracked. It started going downhill. Like I said, he's still winning. You could see the totals there as he's still up for the session, $250. He was up 1,000 at one point. He's still winning. David up 500. So literally 4 players are in the positive, 4 players are in the negative.
The pro makes money, obviously, but and they have a drug massage. Yeah, and the next day they'll text you like, oh, you owe this guy, you owe this guy, you owe this guy.
Oh, check out Cy here with the 3 deuce. He's calling the race out of position. And everybody else calling here. Nicotine with the queen 9 of hearts makes the call. So we're going 3 ways to the flop. The ace high actually the best hand right now, and he does have position. Oh, queen coming on the flop. It's all spades. We might see a big hand here as Nicotine flopping top 2 pair. Oscar, your pre-flop aggressor, flopping the nut flush draw. And he's going to put out a big bet here. The Oscar looking for a spade. And he gets his spade. Oscar only has less than a pot-sized bet left, so he should be moving all in once it's checked to him here. And he's just betting 100. Trying to get max value here, but the play was just to move all in. The queen or a 9 comes here, he's going to hate life. It's a jack.
Like I said, I'm at the game and I'm the broker guy there. And I don't even belong, but through a game and
And is he still going to bet small here? So he's really trying to get max value. And he's going to get max value. So you bet 150. Second time he makes an unconventional play, and second time it works out. Got to keep these people guessing. That's what he's doing tonight. Keeping the players guessing, keeping the commentators guessing.
Free play for a month at TCH Social Austin. Be at the grand opening on August 28th and checked in by 5 p.m. to get entered into the drawing. 5 winners will be drawn at the end of tournament registration. On August 28th through 30th, $500 overnight high hands. Every hour from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. This special promotion is only happening at TCH Social Austin. From 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. on August 29th through September 1st. Play 1 hour and get 2 free hours. This special deal is only available at TCH Social Austin during those dates of the grand opening.
King high flop, 2 spades, as Tony P flopping a flush draw. And it's going to go check around, $75 in the pot. And Tony P hitting his flush, 5 high flush. Nicotine does have a jack high flush and a pair. And Nicotine going to be calling here, needing a jack. Oh, Nicotine has 2 pair. And that is not one of the pairs that he has. King of Hearts on the river. And now Nicotine, instead of having jacks and 7s, he has kings and jacks with a 7 kicker. Should be a fold here as now the king beats him. But Nicotine might call here. He's getting a real good price. You can see there's $200 in the middle. He has to cost $65, so he is getting a good price. And I don't think he's going to be able to resist. Grabbing the chips for the call, has not put him in yet. He doesn't want to call, but he doesn't want to fold. He's really curious on what his opponent has. You can see he did cut out the chips, and he is riffling the chips in his left hand. And he does make the call. Curiosity got the best of him there, and he's going to see the bad news. So Nicotine now down 300. Has definitely been a roller coaster for him tonight.
We got $10 button straddle.
$10 button straddle from the Cajun Asian. Action will be on Nicotine. Champ making the raise with the suited ace to 30. Oscar calling with the suited queen jack. Cy calling with the suited jack. And Cajun Asian with suits. So all the suits covered. I think this is the first time I see this where all the suits are covered. I've seen 3 suits covered a lot, but basically we have all the suits covered here. Pick your favorite suit. Hearts, diamonds, spade, clubs. Let's see what it is. And it's a rainbow flop. So straight draw for both the ace-3 and the 8-4. And the Cajun Asian, I actually like this bet here as it is a small flop, a bunch of small cards, and the players most likely to have the small cards is actually him on the button. He put a $10 straddle out, Champ raised it 30, and everybody else called. So now here comes the backdoor flush draw, but the spades did fold on the flop. Does the Cajun Asian continue here? Like I said, I do like this bet on the flop, as he was representing the small cards. He put a $10 straddle. Champ raised it to 30. 2 people called to 30, so it was $20 more for him to call, which pretty much left his range uncapped. And he's not going to have to bluff it. He's going to make a pair of 8s here, and it's going to go check, check, and he's going to quickly show the 8. Nice hand. $10 under the gun straddle, David. Action will be on Tony, his first time playing on the stream, joining us tonight from Austin. Did he just point to us? And I think Cy is gonna leave early. Cy's down, was down about 1,000. Yep, we do have both seats 1 and 2 open, kind of. Is Nicotine still? Is Nicotine in his seat? Oh, Nicotine with a royal flush draw. Open-ended straight flush draw. An ace makes him a royal. We've actually had a royal on the stream before, and he's going to hit it straight. So he's hoping somebody has the ace here. I don't think anybody does. Nobody does. And he does not make his royal flush, but he does make his straight. And he's going to bet it. So we have had a royal on the stream before. We have had quad aces earlier tonight. And that reminds me to remind you about our poker pyramid. So PLO poker pyramid, 2 hands have not been hit. The royal flush has not been hit, and quad fours have not been hit. So the next person that hits a high hand playing Omaha here at Texas Card House, Rio Grande Valley, is going to win $500, and then the person after that will win $1,000. 2 hands are still in play, the royal flush and quad fours. So this is good on any Omaha game, including bomb pots. This promotion is good for bomb pots, top board only, but it is good on bomb pots, top board only. So if you play a bomb pot and you hit quad fours or a royal flush, you are going to be winning at least $500 here at the Texas Card House, Rio Grande Valley, and that promotion will run for about another week. Oh, somebody with $55 raise here. That should be the Queen Jack of Champ. Yeah, it's the Queen Jack of Champ. Trip Jack's coming for Champ. Cajun Asian did not want to let go of his ace-king, but now I think he's got to let it go, as he did have a backdoor flush draw with the ace of clubs. But now that backdoor flush draw is gone. Now the board is paired, and now he will make the fold. All right, so that'll do it tonight for Jeremiah, and that's going to bring in Enrique again. So Jerry put in his 2 hours tonight. You can see right there on the clock, 8:59. So last dealer change of the night. We have exactly 1 hour to go in tonight's stream, as Enrique will deal the last hour here. His second time in the box tonight. $10 button straddle. Make sure, if you still have not hit the like button, show us some love. So $10. Oh. So Enrique did not realize that seat 1 had left, so you can see he dealt him in, but that quickly got corrected. $10 straddle under the gun coming from Oscar. Cajun Asian makes the fold. Nicotine calling with the suited connectors. And Nick.M24 makes the call. He also has suited connectors. And Oscar checking his option with the best hand. King high right now, the best hand. He also has Nick dominated. Flop is out. Graphics are a little laggy, but there they are. 2 spades on the flop. There's a 7, so nobody making a pair thus far. And Nicotine, flopping the flush draw, is gonna stab at this pot, and it's gonna work. So started the stream 8-handed. The final seat was filled fairly fast after the stream. And then we had 2 people that have left so far. So we are 7-handed for this final hour here at the Texas Card House, Rio Grande Valley. A lot of events coming up for the Texas Card House. Different locations across the state. Grand opening for the new Austin location. They are moving. they're located in the same area if you're familiar with the TCH Austin, but they are taking the same concept they have in the Dallas area, and it's going to be TCH Social as opposed to Las Colimas. It's going to be TCH Social Austin. There will be a full-service restaurant, full-service bar, a huge tournament area as well, and their grand opening is August the 28th. Also August the 28th, that is day one of the Poker Atlas Tour main event, and that event is being held at both locations in the Dallas area. The location off of 635 and the location in the city of Irvine. And then also that same day, the 28th, it's going to be on a Wednesday. We will have our 1-3 stream here in South Texas. Now the 1-3 is on our secondary channel. This is the main channel for all Texas card houses, TCH Live. The secondary channel is Texas Card House, 3 different words, Texas Card House. So a lot of times when you search for Texas Card House, the first one that pops up is TCH Live, and the reason for that is the main channel. That's the one with the most subscribers. But the secondary channel is Texas Card House on YouTube, and all of the clubs stream on that platform as well. And as I said before, the reason why is 4 different clubs stream. There are 7 days out of the week, and all of them stream at least 2 times a week. So the math doesn't work out there. And then to top it off, whenever there's huge events like they're having right now at the Texas Card House in Dallas, they do have one of those channels reserved for all of the final tables of these big poker tournaments. So there's always a channel available for any Texas Card House location to stream on. That is why the 2 channels are there. So obviously everybody likes to see the all-ins. Doesn't always happen. I know sometimes when you do watch on TV, you see a lot of all-ins, but keep in mind that that game is edited. So normally that's like hours of play, like 8 hours of play, 10 hours of play, and they will take the best hands and just show 1 hour's worth of those hands. This is live action. We are on a 15-minute delay. So these are all the hands that get played. The hands that get folded along the way between all the all-ins. Big turn for Champ here as he turns a pair with a flush draw. And Nicotine's not going anywhere with his top pair for $20. Speaking about $20, I believe the registration has just closed for the $20 tournament. Let me bring this up on Poker Atlas. And we do have somebody taking one of the seats there, so we'll get their information right now. So I see somebody in seat 1, so they're getting their information in seat 1. And while they do that, let me check this. Let me check out this $20 tournament. So it is a guaranteed $2,000, but actually, the prize pool has gone over the guaranteed. So the prize pool is $2,220. Registration is closed. A total of 55 entries, and essentially everybody added on at least one time because there's 111 add-ons. So the $20 tournament that started at 6 p.m., registration has closed, and it has eclipsed the guarantee. 55 entries for tonight's event, 111 add-ons. First place will be taken home $833. 6 places are being paid. So 1st through 6 make money, and the first person in the money's going to get over $100 profit, as 6th place is going to pay $131. So 831 to 1st, 131 to 6. And Nicotine with the win. All right, looks like we got Chino taking seat 1. This will be his first hand, as by the time he sat down, he was going to be small blind, and you cannot buy the small blind on the stream game. On the main floor, you can buy the small blind, but here on the stream table, that option is not available on the software. Action on Nick with the ace-8 offsuit. He will make the call. David with the 10-5. Nobody else really has anything to call with here. Let's see what Chino has on his first hand. He has 4 high. Oh, ace-king for the Cajun Asian. Bumps it up to 20. And Nicotine with the jacks just makes the call, does not put out the 3-bet. And we saw the stat earlier where he had raised 0% of the time. And Nick making the call with the ace-8 here. So we're going 3 ways to a flop. $80 in the middle. Pocket jacks out in front right now for Nicotine. And the ace comes right on the flop. He does have the jack of clubs. So Nick calling with the ace rag under the gun, and is probably going to lose some chips here, as the Cajun Asian will bet 40. And I don't think this is going to shake either player. Did Nicotine say all in? Nicotine said all in. YOLO. The Cajun Asian has to call here. He's been bluffed at least 2 or 3 times tonight from the same opponent, and now he has a really strong hand. The thing is, he knows Nicotine can have anything here, but his hand is too strong. He has to call. He was up 1,000 earlier. He's still up a little. He's still up about 200. And this is going to be for most of his chips, but he can't fold here. You have ace-king. It's a draw-heavy board. A lot of possible flushes. You have no club in your hand, so now that means the chances of your opponent having clubs in their hand increases. I understand it's hard to call with just one pair. It's hard to call all your chips. But in this situation, you have to. He knows it. He also knows that he has been bluffed tonight by Nicotine, as they have informed him. We're on a 15-minute delay, so he did take a break earlier, and he was informed that he has been bluffed. Like I said, he has to call here. The line makes 0 sense, as he raised pre-flop, call, Nicotine checks, and then just over bets the pot here. A standard continuation bet for the Cajun Asian. I know it's easy to say what to do since we see the cards. Keep in mind, this is assuming that I don't know that he has jacks here. That hand can totally be blacked out for me. Nicotine's hand is 100% irrelevant. Is he folding? Oh my gosh. And Nicotine shows him, and you can see the disgust from the Cajun Asian. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe he folded there. Wow. So Nicotine with a YOLO play there, and it worked. He's only been caught once tonight, and even when he got caught, he had outs. It was he had ace king against queens, and they got it all in on the turn. He still had an out to an ace or king. He also had an out there in that hand, as running clubs would have worked, or the jack would have worked. Oh, Chino with the kings. About 20. This is his only second hand, I believe. And looks like he's making it 20. Champ with the nines makes the call. And we're going heads up. Chino looking to avoid an ace or a nine. Oh. Chino's not going to be happy with that ace, but that ace is going to save him money. He thinks Champ has an ace, but Champ does not. We can see Champ has a set of nines, and Champ leads right out. I probably, myself, would have checked to the pre-flop aggressor, especially on the board. And I think Chino kind of agrees with my logic that he doesn't think his opponent has an ace here. Doesn't think his opponent will lead out with the ace. But you can see the opponent actually leading out with a better hand. So now the queen of hearts coming on the turn. I guess Champ's going to be betting again here. No, now he checks. And Chino's confused. I mean, I see Champ's hand, and I'm confused too. So two face cards coming on the turn and the river, but none of those face cards hit Chino. Only $50 here. I think I call if I'm Chino here and just see what he has. Especially this is only a second hand. Yeah, I gotta be honest with you. I'm calling the 60 here if I'm in this position. The line was a weird line. And I think Chino's going to call it $60 to win 190, so 60 to win 200. And sometimes you call for information. And I think you have to call for information here. So it looks like the Cajun Asian is cashing out, and I would say that's a smart move on his part because he knows he got bluffed. He knows he's not playing his best poker right now, and he is he's getting up because he knows he's not playing his best poker. So it looks like he's cashing out. I think he won a little bit, and it looks like Chino's gonna fold. Yeah, I feel his pain. Like I said, Myself personally, I'm calling to get the information here. I just sat out. I don't know how this guy's playing, and obviously I have kings. I have a super strong hand as well. And Vas or no Vas? Deal or no deal? And he made the call. Like I said, I cannot blame him. And Champ's going to show him the nines. He thought he got unlucky with the ace on the flop, but it turned out he got unlucky with the 9 on the flop. He was almost able to save because of the ace. But he did pay for information. Sometimes that's okay. Yeah, Cajun Asian has cashed out. All right. So we got somebody who's gonna commentate a hand. We got a guest commentator for one hand. Does one hand work? All right. Let me tell you how this setup is here. So this happened here 15 minutes ago. We're on a 15-minute delay. I will make the screen bigger for you. So the chat's right there. Obviously, it's just going to be one hand, so we're not going to be chatting. The Jack 4 here out in front. And is the Jack going to bet? All right, let me show you how this hand works, and then we'll get you to call the next hand, Terry. So Terry's here. You're here like every Friday night for a $20 tournament, right? Yeah. Terry and his wife show up pretty much every Friday night here, and normally his wife is still in. Is your wife still in the tournament? Yeah, of course. Okay. So Tony bluffing here, and oh, he's showing one card. So he's basically making it seem like he either has Queen Jack or Queen 10. Is David gonna fold? Oh, David folded here. So did you see or hear about the Ace King fold that John Dre made or no? Yeah, Ace King versus Jack's Ace High flop. He folded on the flop. All right, so there we go. Button, small blind, big blind. I believe that's a straddle. It's either a tip or a straddle. Does that look like one chip or two chips? It looks like one, right? So, no, it's a straddle. There you go, it's two. All right, so straddle under the gun from Oscar here. Action's going to be on seat 1 here, Chino. I'm not sure if they told Chino about the card reader. I'm not sure if they dealt the cards in over that circle. Let's see if they got scammed properly. You see, they did not get scammed properly, so. All right. Folded around to Nick on the button. David with the 9 deuce will make the fold, I think. And $5 extra for Tony. Just bluffed the last hand. He's going to make the call. And Oscar just checking his ace in position. Heads up we go, $22 in the pot. And flop is out. King high goes check, check. 6 of diamonds on the turn. Check, check again. And it's going to go check, check. I think ace high is good here, right? Yeah, ace high is good here. All right, so we'll let you tell you who he is. He's been around the poker scene.
Okay, let's see. We're fixing to start hand number 64 here. Friday night at the Texas Card House. Ashley's our dealer.
No, it's actually Enrique.
Oh, and I thought it was Ashley.
No, Ashley normally deals, but it's Enrique. Apparently, they call him Kobe on the basketball.
Kobe, okay, yes. Kobe's dealing.
That's what they call him on the basketball.
Right.
I've never seen his moves, but
Yes.
apparently he has moves.
Okay, looks like there's no straddle this time. Kobe's having a little trouble with the graphics, with the card reader.
Yeah, so like that basically resets.
Yeah, 3, 6, all the
So yeah, he's trying to get it reset.
3, 4, 5,
And
6,
it looks
7.
like we have somebody at 2 there.
Seat 2 is a new player who's just come in. That's Roy.
Have you played with any of these players before?
Oscar, obviously. Nick.
Have you seen any of Nicotine's plays?
No. Oh, Chino picks up pocket aces under the gun. See how much he wants to raise. He raises to 15. Roy folds. Nicotine. Oh, Nicotine folds also.
Nicotine likes to bluff.
Nick also folds. David T will make the call with suited king, and Tony P will make the call with a suited queen. And Oscar also calls with in the big blind with 9-10. The flop comes king, king, 3. So David T has flop tripped kings, which is bad news for Chino.
I think he continues here.
Chino is first to act,
Maybe third year.
and the pot there's $80 in the pot, so he bets 35. David T is going to slow play just by calling the 35 with his trip kings. The turn comes a deuce of spades, bringing in the spade draw. Chino still thinking his aces are good, but this time he checks. David T checks behind with his trip kings. The river is a 4 of spades, bringing in a 3 spades. Chino with his aces.
Looks like he's checking there, but I think
now he checks. So David with his trip kings now is going to put in a bet of, it looks like 55.
Do you call here, Terry?
I do.
Me too. I'm calling here.
Yeah, it's hard to get away from aces. And as a matter of fact, I just got knocked out of the tournament with aces. To a set of 8s. I don't see how Chino can fold this. It's just too hard to fold aces.
So,
He's thinking about it.
yeah.
He's stretching.
Yeah, so
It's going to be a crying call if he calls.
it's the second bad spot that he's in. He had kings earlier, I'm not sure.
Yeah, he does make the call and sees the bad news as David turns over his trip kings.
All right, Terry. I don't think it's going to get better than that.
Yeah.
Like aces. Aces. One hand that you call it's aces.
Don't tell Chino that I was doing the call when his aces got cracked.
You all right? All right, so you can see Roy in the game now. always welcome guest commentators. And looks like we're getting the seats filled up now. There is an open seat available from John Dre. And is that the legend, the man, the myth sitting down? I think it is. So normally they play after the stream is over. It is a 4-hour stream on Friday nights. Normally these players play, and with the lineup that is starting to fill these seats, I think they're going to go past. The players are going to continue to play once the stream ends. Nine high flop, 2 spades. Tony P flopping a straight, middle pair. And it is Oscar the one leading out.
Neither can I. I'm not gonna go. Okay. I've got 2 drafts coming up. Okay. I don't feel bad then.
Ace of diamonds coming on the turn. Probably going to slow down the action here. It actually gives Tony a straight draw to go along with his middle pair. And it looks like he's going to bet. And Oscar acting like he's scared of the ace, but he was actually behind before that.
Mr. Rocha was $43. You were hiding, right? You didn't want to pay? Oh my God.
Usually I go out the back door, but
You choose a different side today.
no windows in here.
Yeah, so they are putting down the players' information, as now we are back to a full table, and looks like some action players taking the seats.
No, I just paid it.
I'm gonna probably be in Corpus, but Isaac's gonna go.
Is he gonna go?
As my agent for the draft.
Oh, yeah?
That's my agent. No. Do you know what pick is it? 9.
So it is Mr. Roach, 4-3. He's going to make the fold.
How many players? 10 or 12? 10. Oh, so it's not good. So get back to back.
I mean, red.
So Roy checking his option here.
Pretty new. I mean, it's up like it's like I guess like his pro.
And it's going to come 8 high. So Roy flopping top pair, Nicotine flopping 2 pair.
I probably need to meet up with you probably Tuesday during the day.
Okay.
I got a mediation on Wednesday in Corpus at 8:30, so I'm gonna probably leave Tuesday afternoon. But I need to meet up with you so I can load this stuff. I think we'll show you how to work it so you can have the laptop here. I would have left my laptop, but since I'm going up, I gotta take it.
And
Yeah, but so what happens is I gotta get on the app.
still the best hand for Nicotine.
Program, and then the program syncs it with the ESPN or Yahoo.
Yeah. So do you use Fantasy Pro or any
No,
of those?
it's draft 0 and 4x4. So I go 4x4.com.
Oh, good fold by
So you go to the tool,
Roy there.
draft.
Okay. Well, let's get together. We'll have lunch. We'll have lunch and do it.
It's like watch the stream, you know.
Monday, let's have lunch.
That was
and we'll
awesome.
do it.
Now, Monday should be good. Monday should be good. And I'll take Isaac with me. We can kind of show you like this thing, but I'll show you how to do it. So you can figure it out.
May get in also if you want to. If you do that to coffee? No.
So Roach will be big blind.
Into 25,000.
I could easily envision a big hand taking place between Nicotine and Roach, where they both are bluffing each other.
I think they're drafted on the
I don't know if that'll happen during the stream, as we got about half an hour to go on the stream. But as I said, I could easily envision that. Roach is the big blind here. Nicotine's going to be making the call with the Queen Jack.
I'm gonna find
This
out.
one's 5K, right? So drop it down from 7,500 to 5.
Right.
Yeah, I'm down.
4 deuce of clubs for Nick.M24.
We had the worst.
And he's going to be raising.
We just, well, no, we just worked it hard. I mean, all the way through, you know. My biggest mistake was taking Mahomes as my quarterback early on. And he didn't
And
give it any.
we're going 5 ways to a flop, $100 exactly in the middle, 2-5 action, Texas Card House, Rio Grande Valley. And it's going to come jack high as Nicotine flops top pair with a queen kicker. Straight draw for Nick. He has a gut shot. He was the pre-flop raiser. Open-ended for Roy. And everybody checks around. Club on the turn for fun? No, it's going to be a deuce, so Nick now making a pair, but Nicotine's still out in front. Roach also with a pair. And now Roy's betting his open-ended straight draw. I think everybody's going to call here. Nicotine might raise.
That's probably that could be it, because they've got, you know, an overall pick, they've got.
We saw Nicotine make a tight fold earlier. He might make a tight fold again. Yes, top pair here though. Only a $45 bet.
St. Brown.
On the what?
Okay, so he is calling for sure. Champ will fold. And I think Nick has to call here. You have a pair and a straight draw. No, he folds, the pre-flop aggressor. So Roach needed an ace or a deuce. Roy needed a 9 or a 4, and he hits none of them. That queen's going to make 2 pair for Nicotine, and Roy's going to bluff here.
Well, the difference is that, like you were saying, the quarterback.
Yesterday, I mean last year,
He might get a call from Roach here. He's getting a call for sure from Nicotine. But Roach might now. Roach does fold.
I like that there's so many flex on. And that one's 75K, right? Hey, Roach, on that one, it's every week 500 for the top 4, right? And then what are the playoffs? Top 2 pay or top 3? What do they pay for first?
50, 50%, 20, 30, 20.
It's 15, right? 50K. I think told me Contra got out here. Contra is at 22.
Somebody, Veto got in there.
You ordered the burger, right?
You can see it is 9:30, 9:36 there on the iPad. That is Central Time. Central time here in Texas, South Texas. And we were on the 15-minute delay just to make sure there's no shenanigans that happen. Seven six for Champ. He'll make the fold. 7-4 clubs for Nick. Makes the call. Natural 9 for Oscar. Making the call. Suited clubs for Chino. Into the muck. Roy just got caught bluffing. Makes the call. With the Queen 10 of hearts. Roach with the same hand. Looks like he's taking care of dinner. And Roach just checking his option. So nobody raising. Oh, huge flop for Roy. Open-ended flush draw. Roach also with the open-ended. And Nicotine with top pair. Only $25 in the pot, but that's going to change here pretty quick. Roach leads out with a pot-sized bet as he's getting pre-rolled here by Roy. Roy has the same straight draw, but his hand can improve to a flush, while Roach's hand cannot. Nicotine with top pairs. Going to be calling? Or is he? Yeah, he makes the call. Does Roy just call? I think Roy just calls here. You're in position. Maybe if you're out of position, you would put in a check raise. And that's exactly what he does. He just makes the call here. Really, really strong hand. And to the turn we go. Nicotine still in the lead. Roach does slow down and check. Nicotine gonna put out, is that 40? No, puts out 50, half pot size bet. So Roy's calling for sure. He might be raising, and he is going with the raising option here. No, just calling. And that's gonna bring along Roach as well. And Roy misses everything. Hashtag too many outs. Doesn't even make a pair. Had a straight draw, had a flush draw, and misses everything. Now keep in mind, he just bluffed last pot, and he's bluffing again. So back-to-back pots for him bluffing. And I think Nicotine's gonna call him. He called him last time, and I think he's gonna call him again. He doesn't like his kicker, but it's really the first time Roy has shown any aggression to this pot. There's the call. You can see right when he called, Roy just kind of smirks like he got me again. So Nicotine, that's going to take him into the positive. You can see he has almost 2,000 in his stack. He's in for a lot of it, but he is in the positive. So nice hand for Nicotine. All right, action under the gun for Nick.M24. I think that's his Instagram handle. Go for the gram. Oh, kings for Tony P. He's going to make it 15. Roy, who's bluffed the last two hands, gonna fold. Nicotine does not like to fold. He likes to see flops. So the king's picking up a call from 5-3 offsuit and ace-6 offsuit. And Nicotine flops the nuts. Wow. Top pair for Champ. And we might have a pretty big hand going here. So $15 raise from Tony P pre-flop. Gets a call from both blinds, $45 in the pot, $20 bet from Champ. He is raising. And Nicotine just calls here. So Nicotine flopping the nuts, the best hand possible, with the 5-3 offsuit cracking the kings. Kings got cracked earlier as well. Oh, Champ making the good fold. Feeling that he doesn't have both players beat.
Oh, that was a good pick.
Nicotine checks again. And does he check raise here? He should be check raising here, as there's two flush draws on the board. And he agrees with me. Oh, he's going to make it big here. And he has a reputation of bluffing, so he might get some action here.
When Justin Jefferson got hurt, there was a guy that was in first place, so he could afford to sit somebody in the bench. So I traded him Brees Hall for Jefferson, and like that, and I literally he ended up like I think he may have lost one game, but he lost in the. He got the
So there's the check raise.
the second round, and then I was able to freaking make it to the championship, but because of Brees, I would have got screwed.
And Tony does have the king of clubs.
This guy had the record to sit on it, you know, he could have sat on it. He was just leaving him for the playoffs, and hoping he came back.
You can see it's really hard to put in a lot of money with just one pair. Tony's trying to figure out how he's beat. He's just going with it, I think. Yeah, he's going with it. And a snap call from Nicotine. And the Kings are drawn dead. He rolls it over right away. He says, you can run it as many times as you want. Tony's drawn dead here. Nicotine with the huge hand. Almost a $2,000 pot. 1761. And Nicotine does have Tony P covered. So that's going to shoot up Nicotine to about a $1,000 win.
I played most of the beginning of the season. I played Josh, but he fucking checked the bed on the first couple of weeks. So then I threw Teddy back in.
So let's see if Tony P rebuys, getting his kings cracked. So we're on a 15-minute delay, and I think the table knows that Nicotine has been bluffing a lot, and that's one of the reasons why Tony made the call. Was hoping Nicotine was bluffing there, but he was not. And we're going to have an under-the-gun straddle from David. Okay, so Tony is out as we have about another, I would say probably about another 15 to 20 minutes left on the stream.
Huh? Well, no, it's tough after seeing the Jacks all in.
Yeah.
To put him on with the Jacks all in.
I put him on the pair or set. I was like, wow. I didn't put him on the straight, but either way I was.
So Oscar just making the call with the 4 deuce of clubs. Eight, 6 of hearts for champs. He will complete. Another $5 for Nix. He tosses it in. And the jack deuce for David. So we are going 5 ways to the flop. The best hand right now is jack high. Only in Texas. Flop comes king high, 9-7. So open-ended straight draw for champ. Top pair for Nick. .M24. And a flush draw for Roach. Roach checks his flush draw. A little surprise there. And a 10 coming in on the turn. So Champ making it straight, and now he is leading out. And as I said, Nick was not rebuying, as he did get his kings cracked. Now the stream, we saw about another 15-20 minutes left on the stream. But these players are probably going to continue to play after the stream. Nick has a pair and a straight draw. He makes the call. Oh, even David makes the call with the straight draw as well. Needs an 8 for the straight. And Roach calling with the diamonds. 8 of diamonds. Oh, trips for Nick. And Champ checks, hoping somebody has a 9, and that somebody is Nick. And Nick is going to be betting here. 150 in the pot, probably about half, probably about 75. Ooh, yep. I think that's 65. 60. Does champ check raise or just call? Wait. Yeah. Yeah, so champ is...
I've been giving him money on
I didn't see your hat. I'm sorry. You have some big mix.
So the dealer did not see champ's hand, and champ's just going to make the call here. Show him the straight. The dealer did not see champ's cards because he has some big gloves there.
Neither one of you has those diamonds. A little baby diamond drop. You good?
So there's the Winter Showdown. Bochino and Roy late to join us, and they have gone to Showdown 2/3 of their hands. So that means going to the river and showing the hands. All right, so normally it's going to be around 80 hands that we get in on a stream. Take the unders, folks. I've just been informed what the number is. Jack 7 of spades for Roy. He makes the call. And it's going to come 7, 8, 9. And of course, kids, that's why 6 is afraid of 7. 7, 8, 9. Hashtag dad joke. All right, trips for David. Roy still has a gut shot, as does Oscar. And a full house now for David. And he's going to bet. Everybody will fold. So, final hand of the stream, last hand is 74 is what they just told me. So normally on the stream table, you're not allowed to move because you pick seats at the very beginning. But since the stream is getting ready to come to an end, and since Roach did not start the game, he was actually the last player to sit down. So he's going to take the big blind here. And we do have an under-the-gun straddle here coming from Oscar. Chino making the $10 call, as does Roy. Champ will fold. What does Chino have? Chino is 7-6. Roy with ace-4. Nicotine not in his seat, had the queen-9. And everybody calling. Roach will complete with the 10-7 of clubs. 6 players in the hand, and it comes 7 high. Chino flopping 2 pair. Oh, Nick with a big hand here. This is the 3rd time we see somebody flop a pair and a flush draw. Nick with 2 spades and a flush draw. Backdoor straight draw as well. Oscar leading with the 10 high here. And Nick's just going to call in position. Good fold by David T there. Knew there was a lot of hands that could possibly beat his top pair, and he was correct. And now, Nick turns a straight draw to go along with his pair. So Oscar bet the flop. He's betting the turn here. Maybe the card reader picked up something wrong, because I didn't understand the bet on the flop, and I surely don't understand this bet now that he has got called in two different positions. Oh, Chino making the fold. Nick is not folding. Really small bet. You can see the pot's $160. Nick should actually raise here and does just that. Roach with the 10-7 has a pair and a straight draw, but now the heat is getting turned up and he's going to fold his hand. And Oscar, like I said, I don't know if the card reader picked up his hand wrong, but I did not understand the bet on the flop with 10-4 offsuit. And I did not understand the bet on the turn, but it looks like he's still going to call here. Maybe he has 10-4 of spades. King on the river.
Your last name is Nick, correct? Put your first name. No, your last name.
I got nothing on this.
And I guess it was right, because Oscar announces he has nothing.
I was monster. I was monster.
Who was that? Put your first name, right?
No, he did have 10-4. He did have 10-4 that hand. Don't understand the play. All right, so 3 more hands to go. So do we have a straddle this hand?
Yeah, I know.
I almost called that. I had a 7-10. Yeah.
So no straddle this hand. And I don't think Nicotine's in his seat. 10-5 of spades. Chino makes the fold. Roy also folding. Actions on Champ. Champ will squeeze an 8-6 suited. Oh, and Nick folds the 7 deuce. Not sure if they're still playing the 7 deuce game. King high flop coming 2 spades. Champ with the queen. Flops bottom 2 pair. And that should take it down as both Roach and Oscar missing on the flop. Swing and a miss. So that takes us to 2 more hands tonight. If you've been with us this long, might as well stay for the last 2 hands. You can see the aggressive frequency. If Cy was on there, Cy was really aggressive when he was playing. We do have a button straddle coming from Roach. So action will be on Oscar. He does fold. The dealer reminding the players that action does start to the left of the straddle. Chino with the 9-5, an extra $5 to call. He's halfway in. He will complete. Champ making the call with the 4-3 of clubs. And we are going 3 ways to a flop. Roach with the dirty diaper. And it's going to come king high 2 clubs. Pretty big flop here for Champ as he flops a flush draw and a straight draw. A straight flush draw to be exact. And Chino is leading out here with his 9 high. It's going to get the best hand to fold.
I remember that. Yeah.
So Chino going to slow down here. And Champ does not take the lead. Chino's going to wind up with the best hand here. And Chino's going to bluff, but he actually has the best hand here. So Chino bluffing with the best hand, 9 high like a boss. All right, hand 74. This will be the final hand of the stream. We'd like to thank everybody who joined us tonight. Don't forget about all of the big events happening at the Texas card houses across the state of Texas. Grand opening for TCH Austin will be on the 28th, located on 183 Northwest Austin, Highway 183, Research Boulevard, and Anderson Mills, next to the Austin Aquarium. And then the Poker Atlas Tour going on right now in both of the North Texas locations, TCH Social, Las Colimas, and TCH Dallas. And these players are still playing, but the stream is scheduled to end after this hand. Pocket eights for David. Roach just with the call. And Oscar defending his straddle. He had a $10 straddle out there, so he defends it. And we are going 4 ways to a flop, $122 in the middle. Pocket eights right now, the best hand. The ace jack has the best equity. Pretty good flop for the pocket eights, but a better flop for Oscar as he flops 2 pair. So only 1 overcard to the eights, but you are open-ended. And it's Roach leading here with the ace high. Oscar just makes the call with the 2 pair. And Roy's going with this. He has a pair and a straight draw, backdoor flush draw. What does David do here? And that's what he's thinking as well. David was calling the initial $75 bet with his open-ended. But now that he sees this action in front of him, he's still calling. So we'll see if Roach makes the call. It's only the all-in's 115, so Roach just might call here. Let's see if Roach calls here. It's 115 total. And he's calling. Oscar cannot raise, as it was a $75 bet from Roach and a 115 all-in. So he cannot raise here. He would want to raise, but he cannot. So David looking for a 5 or a 10. There's a king. There is a side pot which might cause this to go check, check. And that's what it does. There's an empty side pot. And Oscar's going to fill up here. He might be able to get a little something from David T, but he's not going to be able to get $200 worth from David T. He's betting into an empty side pot here. And David T knows that, so he's going to make the fold. So final hand of the night will go to Oscar as he does make the full house. And there's the tally for the night. Those were the winners. Nicotine, your big winner tonight. He was definitely on a roller coaster tonight, over $1,000 winner, and that pot will take Oscar to over a $600 winner for the night. Once again, thank you for joining us. This is TCH Live, and you will be seeing the Poker Atlas Tour is going to be streaming here from Dallas tomorrow. So once again, thank you for joining us.